What's up, everybody? I'm Jeremy, and you're watching Warfels Morse. This week's episode, we have Kai from Landon Royals joining us. We have Steven and Courtney from Leviathan Snakes, and Adam from Proper Royals. Sorry for shaking the thing here. Yeah, my table's not completely steady sometimes. Anyway, so it's going to be really, really freaking awesome episode. I hope you guys all enjoy it. Before I bring them on, I'm just going to do a quick little plug here. If anybody has not noticed, we now have a membership section. It's in the join button there. There's 3 different tiers. Excuse me. Apologies. There's 3 different tiers in that. Each tier has its own perks. The higher up you go on the 3 tiers, you get that tier's perk plus the perks from the tiers before it. So check it out. See if it's something you're interested in. Excuse me. There's some, like I said, there's some really cool perks you get as time goes on, like discounted snakes, first access to snakes, shirts, that type of deal. A members only live stream once a month is, I think, on the last tier. Granted, the last tier is going to be the best one. I tried to price it affordably, so it's a trial run. I'm going to see how it does, and we're going to go from there. But I hope you guys would decide to join up and support the channel a little bit more. And if not, hey, I appreciate all the support you give me already. So I'll just let that be that. And let's bring on our guest that we have with us tonight. We have Steven and Courtney.
Friends.
From Leviathan Snakes. We all know them and love them. And we've got Kai from Landon Royals. And Kai has a shirt on this time, at least.
God, did you have a shirt on last time?
I can take it off if you guys want.
Adam will be joining us momentarily. He just sent me a message a couple minutes ago. He got done cutting a clutch and he's getting cleaned up, set up, and ready to join us. So we will give him a couple minutes here. And while we give him a couple minutes, let's take a minute to thank the sponsor of this week's live stream. And this episode is sponsored by B&S Reptilia. B&S Reptilia, folks, let me tell you, is a one-stop shop for basically whatever you may need. If you're looking for ball pythons, Chris has it. He's working in so many different projects, and he's got amazing quality animals. He's also got blood pythons, gorgeous, gorgeous blood pythons. He's also working with different types of colubers, like Mexican black king snakes, bull snakes, pine snakes even. He's working a couple different boa projects, Australian species even, like Woma pythons and scrub pythons. He's got it all, folks. B&S Reptilia is one place you want to go to if you need a snake. And on top of it, he also supplies Eastern PA with different types of rodents like rats, ASFs. He's got it all. If you need cocoa, he is Pennsylvania's distributor of Cocoa to Go and the Chipper. So definitely do not miss out on what I consider by far the best cocoa substrate on the market. Chris sells it. Go to him. He is our distributor. And make sure you tell him Jeremy sent you from Warfels Morse, because you might just get a little bit of a surprise if you tell him that. Thank you, Chris, for sponsoring this episode. I greatly appreciate it, brother. Thank you, Chris, for sponsoring this week's episode. And John, thank you for becoming the first member to the Warfels Morse channel.
John's the best. Everybody loves John. Like,
and we got Adam back.
What's up? Pardon my delay. I'm sorry about that.
Hey. It's all right, Adam. Just because of what you said that you were cutting on the clutch wise, that makes it all okay to be late. It's always okay for that G.
I gave you a shout out on the cutting because I don't want to take over the show, but man, I had a horrible week of odds, and finally I saw one little head pip, and I was like, man, Jeremy loves Azanthics. I'm about to go on his show. It just pipped. I'm cutting it. I'm going to be late to the show. I don't care. I need his mojo this week. So I got.
Did you get some of my mojo, or did you get the bad mojo I've been having here?
No, man. I used up all my bad mojo, I hope. God, it was terrible. I'll tell you that later. But no, I got 3. I got at least 3 Azanthics out of 7 on a head-to-head. So I'm ahead.
Nice.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can't complain on that, you know.
Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's some good odds, I think.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's great odds. Yeah. I mean, My other one, I bought this snake 3 years ago, that was sold as het pied het axanthic, or het pied het albino. It's neither. I got 10 normals to prove that it's neither today.
No, you've got our luck.
Yeah, we just cut a clutch. We were telling Jeremy about this beforehand. So we had 9 eggs from a clown to pastel Mojave het clown female. She was one of the pastel, both of these animals.
Yeah, we got them at the same time.
Yeah, same time. They were one of the very first purchases we ever made when we were first getting into breeding. She got up to size. She laid 9 eggs. Everything's great. We cut the eggs earlier today, and of the 9 eggs, we got 0 clowns.
We're pretty sure they're hard to see, but
yeah, the probability of this being her actually being het albino, and we just missed on all of it, is not it's not 2%, but it's 0.2%.
Oh, 0.2%.
Yeah. If she actually, that's the probability of her actually being het albino, and we just missed.
het clown.
Right.
Or yeah, het clown, and we missed on every single egg.
And this is the second time this has happened to us with an animal we bought our first go round. So.
Yeah, I used to always hear people say, like, only buy from, reputable breeders, only buy from so-and-so. And I used to think it was like such a snobby thing in the hobby. Like, oh, they're just protecting their own little gang of interest and influence. And now I have 10 normals to tell people, go buy from reputable.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Jeremy, Kai, have you guys had this happen to you guys yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had any. Well, all my hets I'm making myself, so I know they're het.
Yeah, it's happened to me. I got a pied het albino, and the guy was like, "Oh, I gotta pay my bills, so I'll just sell it to you for the price of a pied." Turned out it was just a pied.
Sell it to you for the price of what it is.
Yeah, pretty much. And then like my resurgence project, it's not that they purposely try to deceive me. It's just that I think resurgence is I'm calling it resurgence is my alias. It's not really called resurgence, but I think there's a gene that is just hard to identify, and I think it's really a recessive. So it was listed as a codom, so they probably thought, hey, it looks nice. Maybe it really is that gene, but it turns out when I bred it to a resurgence, a visual, or you call it a homozygous form, none of the babies came out with resurgence or anything like resurgence. So I think those were like honest mistakes, because it's a gene that nobody really works with.
And I was going to say, I should be clear. I talked to the person I bought these snakes from today. I think it was an honest mistake. This was a classroom teacher that had these as classroom pets that thought she would breed them one day and never did. I bought it in the parking lot of a Chick-fil-A. Like, at some point, like, it's on me a little bit too, right?
No, I get it.
Both times that happened to us, it was like that first little run of buying snakes,
Right?
And buying them probably from a reseller. And I don't know if it was the person who sold them to us who lied about what they had, or the person that they bought them from.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is definitely a lesson on be careful on who you buy hets from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I just thought about it. I do have 2 hets that I didn't produce yet. Well, I know the guy that I produced them, so if they're not right, Danny, I'm coming for you. No, I know they have to be, because I saw them, like, they're clutch. So they are what they are, but yeah.
There's a time when I sold something that's like, it's 100% het for one recessive and then possible het for another recessive. And I sold that animal on Instagram, calling it a double het from Lucas Landon Royals. And I'm like, no, it's not a double het. Like, I had to correct him. I was like, don't list it as a double het. Don't say it's a double het, because it might not prove out. The other part is just a 50%.
That's a good topic, man. I've seen that on one of mine.
We get that, where people they'll buy something from us and then they'll post it on their social media with the wrong gene list.
And we give them these. I don't even know.
Yeah, we have hatch
Like,
cards.
we're like,
Yeah, and we're like, it's on the hatch card. But no, we sold something to someone at a show, and it was a pastave. And she posted on Facebook as a review. Like, she reviews us on Facebook. It's like, oh, look at my pastave. I'm so happy to get into a banana morph. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? A banana? You even called it a pastave in your post. And it's just like, it makes us look bad. Like, we
can't idea it.
Or that we didn't explain to them what it was. We're all the time having people like say something that, oh, I think this banana clown has enchi in it. It's like, no,
We didn't have enchi in the
there's no
pairing.
enchi. It's not a banana enchi clown. I don't know.
I had somebody do similar. I sold them a pastel GHI banana, and they started posting it on Instagram as super pastel GHI banana. And I messaged him. I was like, dude, it's not a super pastel, it's a pastel. He goes, oh, I know, but people say it looks like it. I'm like, it's like, dude, it's like, you know, they know, like, you tagged me in it. They know it came from me. They can go back to my sources and see that what it is. It's like, it's kind of, in theory, to me, it's like it could come back and damage me to a false representing. But
And
I don't know.
and I get getting an ID wrong, because it can get hard, especially like when it's something that you've never produced before and you're like, okay, I think it's this, I'm going to get a bunch of different opinions. I get getting an ID wrong. I'm not saying that. It's just more of like the very, very clearly it's one morph and somebody's like, and here's an extra one that I just decided it is too.
Well, there's a difference between misidentifying a codom and then either the odds or possibilities or actual visual of a recessive, though, too.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah, Tito nailed it. Yeah, 9 people on Facebook said it's something other than a normal. That's why it's a super.
Yeah, it's the super normal.
But
Let's go through here and give a couple shout outs real quick, guys. We've got Clown Scientist, what's up? Derek, what's going on, brother? We've got Hutch, what's going on, Hutch? We've got John, which is the newest member to the Warfels Morph. Actually, the only member that so far that I know of. So thank you, John, again, for all the support. I appreciate it. I'll have to look and check out which tier you went with. I'm kind of curious and anxious to see. Eric, what's up, Eric?
It's great to meet Eric in Daytona and Stan in Daytona.
We're gonna talk about Daytona a little bit here today too, because I know Kai's got some questions he wants to hear about it. I've got a couple of questions I wrote down about it as well. Henslers, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. If I miss anybody as I'm going through, Cartafago, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in. Did the mails get sent to you yet? They're the ones that won the 7 male breeders from Nathan during the 1K giveaway. Jeremy and Holly, what's up? Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Appreciate it. Sean, what's going on? Straight Blast, what's up? Tammy, thanks for tuning in. What's going on, Mark? Great video you put out today, Mark. I watched that. Very nice clutch. We got Jesse from Musical Pythons. What's up, Jesse? Rob, what's going on? Perfectly Engineered Reptile, thanks for tuning in. Shannon, thank you for tuning in. Uniquely Mutated Morphs. That's a tongue twister for some reason for me. Thank you for tuning in. Ed, what's up, Ed? Thanks for tuning in, brother. Mitzi, thank you, Mitzi, for tuning in. Appreciate all the support. And, of course, we got Kike. There is no live without Kike in it. You got to have Kike. Michaela, thanks for tuning in. Hales, what's up? Will, thanks for tuning in. What's going on, brother? Hopefully, we got Phil. What's going on, Phil? Welcome to the party, brother. One of these days, Phil, we got to get you on in this group here.
Camera for Phil, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to start hounding him a little bit more, I think, as time goes on here. What's up, Adam? Thanks for tuning in, brother. Adam's my future brother-in-law. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's, yeah. Trying to think of how that was going to work, but yeah, technically future brother-in-law. Tradesman, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. There's Adam's. Adam, we do need to go fishing one of these days. I don't even have much time, dude. I've been stepping pretty good here lately. And Chris, thank you for tuning in, brother. Chris, you got to watch the very beginning of this for your sponsorship ad and let me know how you like the finished product of it. I think you're going to like it, though. I like it. Except for you have no idea how many times I had to record myself saying bull snakes because it kept sounding like pool snakes. And it just, it aggravated me to no end. All right. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I'm going to go down here so that way I can keep up with what's going on at the bottom of the chat. GCG Reptiles, thanks for tuning in. First time I've seen you in the lobby there, so thank you for the support. And John, thank you for tuning in as well. All right, so let's just start off. How's everybody's seasons going? Give us some updates, guys.
Who wants to go first?
Stephen and Courtney.
All right. So we are on. We just cut clutch 6. We have 5 more in the incubator right now. We have another clutch that we did a collab with that's also in the incubator, but it's not here. It's at our friend Troy's from Bulls and Strikes.
And we're waiting on one more clutch to drop any day now.
Yep. And then I think we'll have one other one that she hasn't had her pre-lay shed, but she's going to go.
She's a funny one because we got her specifically to pair to our Butter Mojave male just to make it bells. She's a super mystic. And we paired her to the Butter Mojave a couple times, never saw a lock, gave up because we saw she was at like 25 millimeters. Mm-hmm. So we started pairing her to our female maker banana OD and she asphalt male. Never saw a lock. She just ovulated. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if we're going to get a bunch of slugs. I don't know if we're going to get a Partho clutch. I don't know if one of them locked her. So it's a who's your daddy if you have a daddy clutch.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun clutch, though.
If it's not all slugs, yeah.
It'll be a good video too.
Yeah. No,
if it's not all slugs, yeah.
But yeah, so that I think that puts us at 14 clutches for the year, and depending on exactly how many babies get it, will probably be over 100 hatchlings for this season.
Nice.
I'm the one feeding them.
But yeah, that's our season so far.
Now, because this is also part of the thing too, I have it jotted down separately, but I'll ask each of you as you tell us about your season. Now, what's your most anticipated clutch, either to hatch or that did already hatch?
So I think for us, we have 2 because we have one that should give us visual sunsets. That one is exciting. And then
that's our sunset to het sunset 8 eggs.
That one's exciting because we want to see sunsets, but our one with the coolest animals is that female maker OD and female maker banana OD and she asphalt to our cinnamon enchi girl, because I think those are going to be really cool babies with just cinnamon and enchi being allelic. So all of them will have cinnamon and enchi. All the females will be banana. There's also asphalt and OD in there.
Another enchi.
And more enchi. So
yeah.
I think that's going to be a fun clutch.
Yeah, that will be awesome looking. Totally agree. Kai, you want to take the next step?
So you want to ask how my season's going?
Yeah, how's your season going? And then what's your most anticipated clutch?
I hate that question. No, I'll tell you why I don't like that question is because there's a YouTube timeline and then there's the reality. So I have to try to think to like where my YouTube stopped. I think according to YouTube, the video that I got released this morning is a Desert Ghost clutch, which was great, and then 2 clutches after that were good too. But the reality, like what's happening right now, is I got like 3 clutches of slugs, and I got 1 clutch of cinnamon pied head exanthic to a pied head exanthic. And that entire clutch molded. And they had like they had another month to go, and I look at the incubator every single day, and when I looked at it, they were fine. The next day, I saw a dimple. It wasn't like concave, but it's just a small dimple, and I just thought it was too early. But I figured I just let it go. I'll check on it the next day, and the next day it dimpled a little bit more. So I thought maybe I should add some water. I opened up the lid, and there was just like this aroma.
Death. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that sucks. And then I felt the eggs. They're kind of rubbery, so they all perished. But up until that point, I was doing pretty good. I had a spreadsheet that I created. So, guys, remember like when you first had your first like 1 clutch, 2 clutch, 3 clutches, and they were like probably all successful because most likely, since you only have a couple animals, you're gonna pay very close attention to them. You're gonna be successful, and that's what happened to me. I had my first 2 females. They both had eggs, no slugs, everything hatched, and I'm like, oh, I'm at 100% success rate here. Now I don't know what I'm at because it's really hard to get back to 100, right? Because as your collection grows, you get more and more animals.
Yeah.
You're gonna get slugs, you're gonna get moldy eggs, you're gonna get deformities and deaths. So it's really hard to get back to 100. So I'm like, where am I now? So I created a spreadsheet. So I'll know where I am at the end of the year once everything is done and all the hatchlings are out. Because a lot of the calculations are based on the number of healthy hatchlings. So I won't know until the end of the year.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I was at like 96% until those slugs and until that clutch molded. I dropped down to like 79%. So there's where I am.
I mean, I think that's somewhere everybody needs to realize that it's not is it going to happen? It's an eventual. It will happen. Just it really sucks when it hits those big that's a big spurt to have that all happen in 1 year like that. That would hurt.
Yeah, it was a pied het albino to a albino pied. That was all slugs.
Man, that's a nice pairing too.
Yeah, pastel desert ghost to a super pastel desert ghost, all slugs. And then there was another one I think that had, I think it was a super pastel something, I forget, but it was a sunset part of the sunset project. And that was all slugs as well.
Damn. Oh man.
Yeah. So. Oh, and then I hatched a resurgence clutch and all males.
But at least
I try to make double het pied resurgence, and I had like I think 10 eggs. A couple of them went moldy. There was a couple that when I cut they were already still born. I guess they're not born, but they were dead in the egg. Yeah. Left with 6 eggs. And half of them were pastel, half of them were normal, which is what I expected. But when I popped them, like first one, okay, it's a male, and the second one, it's a male, and then my hands started getting shaky. Like I'm like, what's going on here? Why are they all males? And then I'm down to the last one. I was like, please be a girl, please be a girl. God damn it!
Sorry.
I was asking for a clown clutch this morning.
Oh yeah,
There's got to be one clown in here. No.
That's when I was popping clutch 2. Of course, like the first 3 I popped were all males, and I started thinking the same thing as you guys. Like, you gotta be freaking kidding me! Like, this is a clutch, like, and it's of course my het DG clutch. So it's like, you've got to be kidding me! I need a female out of this. I just need one. Right. And then finally, the last 2 that I popped were females. It's like, thank God. Right. Because I probably would have jumped through my ceiling or something just out of pure crap luck. But no, that one there, that would hurt. Now, what's your most anticipated clutch though?
I gotta check my incubator to look at it. I don't remember. I like all my clutches. They just don't all happen to produce good outcomes.
I want that problem. I want to not know what my most anticipated clutch is. We all need to strive for that moment right there. Thank you. Setting that goal.
I like all of them. It's really hard for me to pick one.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I believe that, especially with the stuff you're working with, dude. Like, just wow. That's all I can say is just wow.
Thanks, man.
Adam, how about you, brother?
I'm feeling down right now. First off, I caught something in I either caught something in Daytona or I caught something from my son going back to school right before I went to Daytona. I'm feeling awful, and I've been feeling awful.
Daytona.
Yeah,
What's that?
A bunch of people got
We
sick
heard
at
the
Daytona.
Marine, like it was the Marine convention at the hotel before the
There's like 150 of them got.
COVID, I think it was.
Wow. I've tested negative on COVID, but Jason Kinninger is going to be on my show on Tuesday night, and he messaged me today. He was like, dude, I'll be there, but I'm just going to tell you, I'm feeling like crap. I'm like, yeah, me too, man. We'll get through it. But anyway, so my first clutch, I've only got 6 clutches this year. I say only, I'm grateful to have those 6, but my first one was like just a Enchi banana to a Enchi. So just a super simple, easy thing. It was a pairing that I bought that had already been paired as part of the collection. Like clockwork. Odds were good. I got a super. I got, nice mix of male, female, everything the way it's supposed to be. Second one, okay. Not great, but okay. Third one I cut today. Maybe that was the fourth one. Anyhow, what I got in my mind right now. Oh, no. I had a couple visual pies, which was good. I was expecting, I came in under the odds. I should have gotten 3 or 4. I only got 2. And then here comes today was like my big thing. I had this big female for 2 years. Kai, that animal that you produced that I bought from another guy here in town, the pied het albino. I was like, all right, this female is supposed to be pied het albino. I'm going to pair to a pied het albino. 10 normals today. She gave 10 eggs. I was so excited. All the eggs healthy. Man, I only had, Kai, to your point, I've only had 2 slugs out of the whole 6 clutches this year, so that's been good. I had 1 mold in the incubator, but that's it. Otherwise, they've all been healthy. But damn it, there's not a lot of normals, man. So that female is not het for she's not het for pied, and I don't think she's het for albino. I could have got skunked on the albino, but on 10 eggs, that's pretty minimal. John mentioned my banana clutch that went to a Super Mojave Ghost Pastel to a het banana. 1 out of 8 of those were bananas. So, John, if you want a female maker banana Mojave, I'm not sure if she's ghost or not yet. Message me, man. She's yours if you want her, kind of deal. We'll work something out. But I got 1 out of 8, so I missed on that. And then right before the show tonight, I saw that Axanthic clutch. That was a fire het VPI to a het VPI, and I got 3 out of 7 het to het. So maybe I'm coming around, and my most anticipated now, I guess, is the next remaining clutch that I hope just comes through amazingly. But that was a visual pastel clown to a het Enchi het clown.
Oh, nice.
And she's got 8 eggs in there too. So half, hey, if I could get 5 visuals out of that with some Enchi and pastel mixed up in there, I'd be okay. I'll salvage the season all right.
Oh, hell yeah. And I mean, pastel and Enchi just go good. So you throw that in. I mean, that.
Yeah. And I like that. Nice. I've got a lot of Enchi clown stuff that's growing up. So I'm excited about that. My most anticipated pairings, though, didn't go. My blackhead het genetic stripe to a blackhead het genetic stripe, she hasn't gone yet. My ultra male female, she didn't go this year. My het cryptic girl that I paired to a visual clown 2 years in a row, she didn't go. And a visual pied I have, she hasn't gone. So, I mean, there's still time this year, but we'll see. Maybe it'll just be an early breeding season next year. We'll see.
That's kind of how I'm looking for me too. I mean, we all know that I lost that. Well, I didn't lose. My female skipped out on me for my double het DG Axanthic clutch. She completely skipped this year. So I'm still trying to salvage that because I got that pastel TSK Xanthic female there at the Gettysburg show from Nathan at Infinite Possible Pythons. But she's already locked once with the DG male. And she just fit when I came out of her shed cycle. She shed last night. So he's back. He's right in there now with her. So hopefully he can get the job done and salvage my double het clutch for me this year and put me one step up by having the pastel in there.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed on that one.
And I will say I had a lock with my candy that I just paired. There was a thunderstorm. I just got this male breeder, het candy, het pied, Enshu pastel. And I was like, let me put them in there with her, maybe just get her started so that in a month or two she's kind of building. And they went right to town, man. So who knows? Maybe it'll be a pleasant surprise around come Christmas time, you know?
That's what I'm kind of thinking. If I can, well, you figure I start breeding in October, like late October is when I normally start pairing males and stuff back up. So, you know, with those two girls skipping, they're definitely I'm going to start throwing the males back into them beginning of October just to see if I can't spark something a little bit earlier with them. Because they're smashing food. Yeah. It seems like they're acting like the carpets right now, and they're just acting always hungry. But I don't feel any follicles yet. So at least they're smashing the food. So that's got me excited.
I got to get the ultrasound game going. In the next 90 days, I got to, not even 90, probably 60 days, I got to buy one.
That's funny you bring that up, Adam. For anybody that didn't watch last week's episode or live stream, hey, look, Phil, thank you, brother. I greatly appreciate it, Phil. That there's what I'm just going to touch base on. Any super chats are going, or super stickers are going towards my ultrasound fund.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Figured, boy, I'll put all that money because I'm going to use basically the whole YouTube thing as a savings account, essentially. Any money made from the YouTube channel is going towards buying an ultrasound. And after that, it's going to do like you do for yours, Adam, and help feed the snakes.
Yeah, that's what mine does, man.
But after being seeing how everybody's been so successful with using their ultrasounds and how it helps save a lot of time, and hearing Billy, because I'm on Billy's Patreon, hearing him, just say, really push the ultrasound thing on how it lets you know exactly what's going on, where they're at. It's just got me to the point where it's like right now money's a little tight for me, so I can't personally go out and do it. And the clutches I've produced this year aren't high dollar clutches. So my next thought was I'm going to see if I can't raise some money up out of YouTube and put it towards that. So thank you, Phil, for the $5, dude. I appreciate it. That is going right into the ultrasound fund, brother. Thank you.
Excuse me one moment. I'll be back.
You're good, Adam.
We got monetized on Instagram, and so our reels, they make money off the reels. And when it first happened, we were like, hell yes, let's make a reel every day. Instagram wants reels. We're going to make reels. We're going to make the best reels. We were doing reels every day. And then we realized you can see how much money you make per reel. In the first couple of days, we were making like $20 a reel. And we were like, hell yes. And they weren't doing that good either.
And by that good, like at the time, like when we'd get $20 from it, it'd be like 3,000 to 5,000 views.
Yeah. And then after a while, it kind of capped. It hit 100 and it capped. And we were like, did it cap at $100 or did it cap at like 10 or 5 videos or 5 reels? So then we did it again the next month, and we had a reel take off and hit
the very first one.
30,000 views. The very first one capped, and it hit $100, capped immediately.
And by capped, it doesn't mean that it stops getting it. It's just that you get a way less.
Pennies instead of dollars. So like once you hit $100,
we're like, we're done. We hit ours for the month.
Hit our $100. We might make 102. We might make 111, but we're not gonna make 50 reels a month if we're going to make $100, if we also make.
Now we do get way more reach on reels whenever we do them. So just for growth, they're good to do, but to get paid for them, we hit our $100 and we're like, all right, we got ours.
So if Instagram thinks we're going to be making a bunch of reels because they're paying us, well, honestly, you should have paid us less per view to begin with. so that we were like aiming for something. I don't know.
I like the $100. I like the consistently getting $100.
Once you hit that point, say, all right, we've done it. See, I'm trying to figure out Florida Born. Thank you very much for the donation to the ultrasound fund. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much. That's one thing I'm learning. Like I'm trying to figure out how YouTube's monetizing works, and trying to figure out how much I average a day. And it's best I could come up with is roughly it's like $1 a day is what YouTube is paying me essentially. I don't know about you guys, but
I would have to look. I don't know because I don't really pay attention to the YouTube monetization very much.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't pay us much. I'm with Steven and Courtney. I rather put my effort towards Instagram.
Yeah, and
my good day is a good day is $3 a day. I hover between $2 and $3 a day.
If like on videos on days when like Wednesdays when I drop a video, that jumps up to like $3-4.
We get paid out if it goes over.
But then it slowly declines, and then Sunday it of course jumps up again because of the live streams, and then it slowly declines again.
Yeah.
Well, you just made $15 today.
I did. But see, the thing, I greatly appreciate everybody. You have no idea how much I appreciate that.
It's awesome.
Dude, I'm still in shock and all that I'm even at this point. I never thought I'd hit 1,000 subs. But after I hit the 1,000 subs, it's funny. It's like it's skyrocketed. Now it's like
for us too.
Like people are subscribing like crazy now. It's like, whoa, why didn't this happen before?
So straight blast said how do you make money for reels? Our account is monetized.
You have to get invited to you have to live in the United States. You have to have no strike violations on your profile, and you can check on it. Most people are good unless you've gotten one. You'll know if you've gotten one.
When did you get invited?
It was we were
early this year.
Early
this year.
Early this year. Okay.
Yeah.
We asked Gen Z about it, and they've got way more followers than us, and they weren't at the time. I was
going to say that there's just some secret sauce that Instagram doesn't tell, or it's a
stop. I think it's about making reels.
I think it's about how many reels you make and how well they do.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a method to it. I just don't know what it is, and nobody's seen it. It does not print it or share it.
It's not like YouTube where there are you have to do this, this, and this. It's exactly. You have to be invited, and we were invited.
I'll tell you what I think the sauce is.
Okay.
Right? So this is what happened to me because I got invited last month.
Nice.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
I thought it had ended, so they're still doing it though.
Yeah, they're still doing it. So I got invited last month, and it was like, why did you send me this invite? I didn't understand because I wasn't even making reels at that time. I made those couple that went viral, and then after that I made a few more, but they didn't really get much traction. So I kind of just stopped making reels. Didn't really do much on Instagram, but what I did do was I went over to TikTok. So I had about 16 followers. So one night I decided to just throw up 3 or 4 videos. And then all of a sudden I started getting 20 additional followers. I'm like, oh, this is good. So every night I was throwing up two videos. By the third night, Instagram sent me an invitation to join.
That was the same time
That's so cool.
So when our daughter was born, Steven's family came down. So it was March. And they came down and they were like, you need to really put more effort into TikTok because, when we came here to Hilton Head, we were looking for stuff. We looked on TikTok to find a local diner or whatever. And I didn't realize people were using TikTok like that. And I was doing a TikTok a day for almost a couple weeks. And then we got monetized on Instagram. I was like, I'm not doing the TikToks anymore. We're going to make money on the reels.
Oh, man. Everybody check out Proper Royals TikTok starting tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
Oh, my God.
Do it.
That's
library of short
I did not connect
slap up there.
But that's exactly why I stopped making the TikToks is I was like, we're going to get paid for Instagram. I'm not doing all these TikToks.
Right.
Wow.
That's
Use the
really
same name, Kai, on TikTok, I'm sure.
Yeah.
sure
Yeah,
we have
it's the
a
same
link
name.
to.
It's a link to their
Yeah,
Instagram.
they're linked. Yeah, my TikTok has a link to my other social media platforms as well. So they probably somehow know. And plus, like whatever you say and do on the phone, somebody sees it anyway. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
That's neat.
Huh.
That's
Yeah.
really cool. I'm happy, thank you, Kai, for sharing that. That's really.
And I don't
neat.
know, and now don't everyone go making a TikTok account trying to be like, oh, let me make.
But if it does work, let us know.
Yeah, but if it does,
No, well,
yeah.
that's the thing. I mean, I've been doing a reel a day for like almost 4 months now. Like I do like every day. That's my wake up, go make a reel. I'll just slap it on TikTok. I'm just start slapping them on TikTok. But now I've got like 120 reels that I can slap up there too on TikTok.
And reels are good because they put their watermark at the bottom, so you can zoom in a little bit, and then your watermark doesn't show up on TikTok. TikTok, they move the watermark around, so it's real.
No, I'm saying I have what I uploaded before even.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before IG ever even got to it. I'm a nut. I save it all. I save every bit of it.
But yeah, I've noticed. We were actually talking about this today. So I feel that for the vertical video, short form vertical video, reels, and at least what I see do well, are really, really like beautiful, if that makes sense. It's how Instagram would like prioritize beautiful pictures. I feel like they prioritize beautiful reels. On TikTok, I feel like you don't need as polished stuff, but you need to be funny, or you need to have a reason for people to like watch, like you're talking about something. And then YouTube, I feel like it's a lot of like clips of other YouTube videos, but they didn't put as a short.
Yeah.
And I
see
think
that
that
a
the
lot.
same content doesn't do well on each platform. We can take a reel that gets 100,000 views on Instagram and put it on TikTok and get 200.
Yep.
See, I'm gonna have to start pushing Dom to start doing more TikTok stuff because that's his job. He's in charge of the TikTok, and he's kind of slacking on that. I think we have like maybe 3 videos. That's like I think roughly a video a month for him, maybe. And I think I even had to take the videos for him and send it to him.
So, question, because I've seen people talk about it in the chat and all that stuff. I don't know actually how to pronounce it. Vero? I don't know what it is. Vero. Have you guys seen all the people posting about it?
It's like the new
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
but only in like the past like 3 days. I don't know. It came out of nowhere from what I saw.
Mm-hmm. What's your guys' thoughts on it?
I don't know anything about it.
Anything about it.
I mean, it seems like a whole bunch of people I saw have made accounts for it. I don't know. I tried checking it out at work one day, and then as soon as I finally, because I was at a bit spot with bad reception, as soon as it finally loaded something up, I had to hop off of it and get back to work because the dump truck finally showed up. So I still don't know what Vero is.
I went over there right away and I created an account called Warful Morphs. I created an account for Papa Royals. I created an account for Leviathan. I even created one for Canova. So if you guys want your accounts back, just send me a check.
Yeah,
The ransom is ...
Can you not spread those kinds of ideas? I'm gonna have to go create my account right now.
Perfectly engineered reptiles. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, this is just freaking cool. I'm speechless, guys. Thank you. I really do mean that. Thank
Did you hear Kai's joke?
You know what? That's actually a good idea, Kai. That's a good idea.
No, it's not. That's messed up. What would you do?
The big wigs,
It's a great idea.
the big
That's
breeders
why
to be like, hey, I have your account. If you want it, here's the price it costs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's interesting. I had, I don't even remember where I saw this. It was a class I was doing for work and everything, but they were, it was talking about like people embracing change, and like there's the bell curve of standard deviation, and it's like if you are looking at a bell curve and you got like outliers on either end and you got the majority of the population in the middle. On one end, you're going to have early adopters. Like there's outliers of a population that are going to be early adopters of any platform, any technology, anything like that. Early adopters are not basing things off of what they are now. They're adopting it based off of what they think the potential will be. Then there's like another group that's like not quite as fringe as that group. That this group, they are adopting things because they see the product and they think it's trendy, and they think that it's cool, and then it raises their social status, and then they adopt it. Then there's the early majority, and they adopt things because they see the trendy people adopting them, and they're like, well, if the trendsetters are adopting this, that means it is cool. I'm going to adopt it too because I want to be cool. Then there's the late majority who looks at it and they're like, everybody else is already doing this, so I'm going to adopt it. And then there's the laggards, which are people who pretty much refuse to, not refuse, but they're way late to the game. They're like, I guess everybody's been on TikTok for like the last 10 years. I guess I'll finally make an account. And then there's the other end of the fringe, which are people who are genuinely opposed to whatever the change is, and they'll never adopt it. And I think that that's interesting because you can start to see it right now on the Vero stuff, because I think that everybody who's joining Vero right now, they're not necessarily doing it because they're like, oh, I've heard Vero's really cool. They're doing it because it's a brand new social platform, and they're like, but if it blows up, I want to be one of the first people on there because I think they'll also blow up.
So
we're doing it because Kai just told everybody to hijack. I'm getting mine going right now.
I think for me, the thing that I'm not quite sure about on the Vero is I've not heard about it at all outside of Reptile Instagram. So if the only people on it are other people who are on Reptile Instagram, we're not going to get any new engagement or traction.
The only audience on there is going to be people who are.
Yeah. So now that being said, I had completely discounted Facebook. I didn't give a single crap about Facebook. We never even posted to our Facebook. And then a woman who purchased a snake house, she was in a random Facebook group, a new ball python keepers Facebook group. She was super excited to get her very first snake, her very first ball python. So she posted him when she came. She posted our packaging and everything that she put in them. And then it blew up. We got 200 Instagram followers in a day. We got like 400 for the week. We got our Facebook blew up. We got a bunch of new followers on TikTok. We got like 6 inquiries in 2 days just because this girl posted a really good experience on a Facebook group. So
just
now
showing off the snake they bought, showing off the packaging, showing off, like saying they had a great experience with us.
Yeah, and we just started getting followers. We were getting like 100 followers. I was like, what is going on? And Katie from Coffin's Critters, she texted me a screenshot. She said, hey, I'm in a Facebook group, and a girl just posted a picture of a snake you sent out, and it has like already has like 400 likes. It was posted like 2 hours ago. And then the girl who posted it sent it to me and was like, this is crazy. It has 100 comments, all this stuff. And it did wonders for us with the pet owners.
So it made us reconsider Facebook as not being worth our time because it was like really, really valuable.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting point here that Will just put out, that you can sell on Vero apparently.
Oh.
So that's probably the big reason why a lot of reptile people are going towards it now. That there would be a big selling point, I would think.
Yeah, because I've been.
Is that what it is? Is Vero a platform for you to sell stuff?
It's John had said. I think it was John farther up the chat. Well, here I have it started. Hold on. Said that it's like Instagram and MySpace had a baby. If anybody remembers what MySpace is.
and they advertise no ads and no algorithm, which I don't know. I know we all sort of worship the algorithm, so I mean, it's good and bad to it, but it does. I'm actually kind of a believer in the YouTube algorithm. Like it connects people to them wanting to see me, which is kind of cool.
When I'm on my personal Instagram, I don't want anything to do with the algorithm. I don't want Instagram to tell me what I want to see. I want to see my mom and my friends and my friends' babies. Like I don't want to know which celebrity Instagram wants me to see. But when I'm on the Leviathan Snakes Instagram, where we follow 1,000 people and I don't follow like friends and family, necessarily. I do like the algorithm, and I like the algorithm with YouTube until my stepson starts watching Minecraft videos. on my
Right.
phone. And now,
Yeah, that's got to be on a separate channel, man. Yeah.
Then all my sponsored or my promoted content is the worst.
Kent says, "Stop doing panels like this. It's a mouthful to do a shout out for." Kent, I'm sorry I missed your live, dude. I caught the tail end of it there. I thought you did pretty good with giving everybody the shout out on it. Thank you though for also shouting out my live stream. I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, when it comes to social media marketing, building up a social media presence, my advice is, especially early on, pick a platform that's like your pillar platform and work that platform as your main one until you get a really good feel for it, and then go to another one. And then once you get that one really good, then go to another one, and not try to do all of them all at once, because you'll get overwhelmed and you'll never do a single one of them good or well.
Oof.
Yeah, I know. I go burn my English degree.
Yeah.
I have a hard time staying consistent on Instagram. That's my big problem.
Yeah, Steven threw a fit because we missed a post 2 days ago.
Oh God, he'd be beating me with a stick or something. I think I went almost a week, maybe 2 weeks without posting anything other than my story that I do every Sunday for the live streams for that day. I mean, yeah, today was the first picture I posted in probably at least a good week and a half.
How do you do on Instagram?
I noticed I'm stuck at a spot, believe it or not. Let me see here. I'll pull it up here quick, because I was at a decent amount, and then my follower count dropped drastically, and now it's going back up again.
On Instagram?
Yeah. It dropped 20 people.
You got deleted.
Yeah.
They went to Vero.
You ever notice
You have to buy them back again.
Yeah, that's what Steven will be like. I'm like, wow, that person lost a ton of followers. And Steven's like, yeah, because they probably bought followers and all the bots got deleted. I'm like, oh. Oof.
I didn't even know that you can do that. So you can actually buy.
Yeah, but don't do it.
Don't do it. It'll ruin.
Well, no, I wouldn't do it no matter.
No. It's not don't do it. It's embarrassing. But it ruins your account because none of these bots interact with your page. So you have 10,000 followers and nobody's liking your post. It's awful for your.
Yep. So then Instagram's algorithm is like, oh, you got 10,000 followers, and your 10,000 followers are the people who care about your content the most. And because 9,000 of them are fake and none of them interact with your account, you make a post and they're like, oh crap, 90% of his own followers don't engage with this stuff. It's garbage. We're not going to push this out to new people.
Yeah. So that's whenever you see a new account that immediately has 20,000 followers, but they have 6 likes on a post, is
they bought followers.
Yeah.
You can also usually tell if you look at people's follower list, because there'll be a very, very similar naming convention.
It'll be first name period, last name 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It's
that's my password. Don't say that.
First password to those accounts he just took from everybody.
I was about to say, I need your password to get my own handle back.
But I had those reels, and then I guess whatever you want to call it, the viral ones, and then my followers jumped up, and I got to 5,000, and then they started slowing down, and then they started to stop. Well, they didn't stop. They just stopped, and then they started going backwards, because it's I couldn't make any more viral reels anymore.
Yeah.
So it's maybe I screwed up. Maybe I screwed myself, shot myself in the foot. But I just kept doing just whatever I was doing before, and then now it's going up very slowly again. So I think it's kind of look what Steven was saying, is you have all these people.
Were you in the live with Brian?
A year ago?
No.
Oh,
why? Did somebody else call you Kevin?
So weird. Brian kept calling him Kevin for some reason. Y'all, why do you look at Kevin?
I don't know. It just came out.
Okay. All right.
All right. I forgot what I was saying, but yeah, it's
slowly
good that. Yeah, I guess it's good to just have your followers come slowly rather than just a whole bunch of them come at the same time, because then there's like an expectation of you to produce certain type of content and that you just can't keep up with it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I personally think if you can have a slow, consistent, I don't want to say grind, but like build up, your account is going to be healthier in the long run than getting like one flash of viral growth and now you're like the people aren't as invested in you in that situation.
Yeah, that's been my experience. Like mine has never exploded, and I've never had anything truly viral. Like I've got, I think 4 or 5 videos now above 5,000 views on YouTube, like traditional views, videos, which is great. I'm coming up on 2 years on YouTube. And then Instagram, I just started this year, I think maybe in February, and I'm around 1,200 followers, which isn't, crazy, I know. But on the other hand, it's just steady, I think I'm at 13 to 15% growth monthly on Instagram, which what's the rule of 72? 5-6 months, that'll double, I guess.
So I think I'm at like 12. I just looked at like 1280 or something like that, or 1281.
Oh,
so,
nice.
I mean, but like I said before, I always forget to do Instagram stuff. YouTube takes precedent over everything.
Yeah, I do that too. When I'm making a video, I shoot it horizontally, and then it's like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to shoot one vertically as well. I forgot to do it. Darn it! The female's already off the egg. I can't put her back.
No, I can't. I actually really thought about that this year. I was like, man, I got to no, I can't get her back on there. No, I do. I just developed a rhythm. I mean, every morning before I go to work is Instagram. So there's a picture and a reel every morning before I go to work. And then my YouTube rhythm was already set of the live and then a traditional video once a week. And like right now, I'm kind of backed up on content. So I'm probably going to kick out a couple weeks of 2. But I heard your point. I forget whose show it was on, Kai, when you said a few weeks back, like stack your content because you're going to run out of it you're going to hit a slow point at some point where you can, stretch it out. So
I think you said that on here, Kai, because I think I remember seeing that.
I think Gershon was on here too that day.
Yes.
Yeah. That was the one where I said I was naked.
Yeah, that's why I remember. That's
why we were like, man, if only that were on the vertical screen shot.
Yeah, I'm wearing my limited edition now. My limited edition Kabilka shirt.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You see how I marketed it? It's limited edition now.
Yeah, there's no more. Yeah,
there's no more.
No more.
Done.
Very true.
Miguel was giving me a hard time. He says he thinks this is the only shirt I own. I'll have him know I own 2 of these. This is branding commitment, Miguel.
So I think I've got 2 of this style, and I've got 2 of the originals. So I've got technically have 4. Everybody makes fun of me because this is all they see me in. And it's like, hey, I've got multiples I can rotate through everybody.
I'll tell you why it's kind of funny. I'll tell you why I started doing it. Was somebody snagged a screen video shot of when I had Dr. Seidel on, and it was an account that has like 12,000 followers, and they didn't tag me in it, and I didn't have this on, and they got thousands of views from reposting it, and I got nothing. And I was like, that's it. Anybody that ever does anything of me gets that picture right there.
Which is smart. Really
the embroidery lady, she was like, that's a really big logo. I'm like, perfect. That's what I want. As big as it can get right there.
It stands out and it's going to be seen.
Yep.
You know what else is good about wearing the same shirt is that if you're making a video and you realize there's a chunk of time that you missed or something that you need some continuity, you can just shoot the same thing again.
All I got to worry about is did I shave that day or not? If not, I got to wait till
the haircut.
I ain't got much of that.
I think I just finished up. I did a video. I just wrapped up on getting your females back on food after they laid. Now, I started the video after clutch 2 was laid. So I think I had more hair on me then than when I did the wrapping up of that video here just the other day. Because I think I shot that after I cut my hair, and I got to think it's like, I bet you I look nothing like what I did in the first part of the video. But like you said, Kai, I at least thought, hey, the shirt's going to look the same.
Right.
I batched out some videos the other day. I did like 3 intros on it because I had just gotten back from Daytona, was just doing a clutch cutting, and just got the new ARS rack. I was like, all right, I'm just going to film 3 intros right in a row while I have time and have the camera set up.
Yep.
Film it, get going, pack everything down, no problem. Go to edit it, and I just stuck with it. I just rolled with it. I have a coat hanger here in the office, and one is my proper Royals coat, but my other is my day job coat, my consulting coat that I wear, and I grabbed the wrong one for all 3 videos. Have me wearing my beverage director coat. Nobody commented anything yet. There's some Easter eggs y'all can go look for.
All right, before we get on to the next topic here, let's do picks of the week because I'm excited to show off these picks.
All right, I'm gonna get some water while you do.
All right. Now, first of all, I think I'm on the right selection here. All right. So, first pick of the week, and no one should be surprised at this because if anybody saw this, you had to immediately think of me. So look at that. DG TSK Xanthic Pastel with paradoxing. That thing is freaking nuts. And that's by Freeman BP Creation. That thing's insane. I love like the intensity of the yellows that are coming through on it with the paradoxing. That's just nuts. Absolutely beautiful. God, I'm like losing my mind here today. Second pick is this beauty from Bob's Balls, which is a pastel spot nose DG clown female.
I think that one might be the Confusion Fire.
Oh, wait. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, because it's the second one. Sorry. Confusion Fire Hypo DG male. Thank you, Steven, for catching that one. I didn't look at what dot I had it on. That thing's freaking awesome looking, too. I love it's like purpley looking there. It's got some nice purples, some nice yellows. Very, very nice looking animal. And then for the third pick, it's this beautiful, beautiful jungle carpet that Riley's Reptiles, Riley Jimson himself produced. Beautiful little female there. And this is what the carpets start looking like, everybody, as their babies before they go through their color change.
Oh, cool.
That animal there is going to be stunning when it hits adulthood. I promise you that. It will be very, very yellow. I would lay a lot of money on that. And also, while I'm talking about Riley, if anybody's in the market for a rainbow boa or some jungle carpets, hit Riley up. He has some rainbows for sale and some carpets for sale still. So check him out. Him and I were actually talking today, and so definitely check his morph market out if you're in the market for a rainbow boa or a carpet python. Unless you want to wait for me to produce a carpet python, and then that's fine because Zena's going to be getting with her boyfriend here this season for this coming season. So we're going to have, hopefully, fingers crossed, some baby carpets next year. And last but definitely not least is this stunner by Martin Morelia. That, to my knowledge, is either because they didn't really list what it was. It's definitely a jungle. Now, if there's something else in it, I'm not sure. It might have like diamond in it. I don't know. But I'm thinking that is just a very, very high yellow jungle carpet. But that thing is freaking nuts. And it's still going through its color change. If you can't tell, it's kind of got some, I don't want to say brown stuff going on there because naturally they do get a little bit of that browning, some of them. But I think that's still some of the baby colors lingering in that one because that's still a smaller carpet. But just wow. I want one like that, folks. I want one like that. But Absolutely stunning carpet. And that's my picks of the week, everybody. For once, I finally had some good carpet pythons to look at this week.
Nice.
Carpet content has been slow.
So what's a
All right.
topic, Jeremy?
All right, my next topic is: are there any goals that you guys set for yourself this year that you're proud that you hit?
Yeah. I know that Adam and us, we did an episode like way back, so I'm honestly thinking back to that, and I don't know what all of them were there. I'd have to watch the episode again, but we hit 10,000 followers fairly early on for Instagram. We're coming up on 15,000 followers now. So
Steven, would you like a recap of what your goals were?
Yes.
I keep a little goal sheet right here, and I figured I wrote it. May as well keep it fresh in my mind. But I took notes from that show. And okay, so this one's good. These are good to look back on. Your number 5 goal for 2022 was only one new project. How's that going for you?
We got more than that. We got Neola.
You failed.
Yeah, we failed. We got Neola. Honestly, if it wasn't for, so we got Neola. That was a new project that we got. And I think at the time I was thinking of Lace, but we haven't gotten into Lace yet. At Daytona, we picked up the Ultramil Het Pied, which I don't know if that counts as a new project because we are doing like Sunset Ultramil stuff, but brand new project, Neola is the only one that we've gotten into. We've got multiple snakes in it, but
that's way better than my out of the gate went. All right. Number 4, it says get monetized. You've been monetized on YouTube, or was that this year?
But yeah, it was this year. I think it was in January when we got monetized on YouTube. And then I think because we also talked about the creator stuff for Instagram. Like I knew that it was available, but we weren't monetized yet.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's good. Number 3 just says Tinley. I don't know if it was to go to Tinley or to vend at Tinley.
I don't know. It wouldn't be to vend at it. I know we went to Tinley in March, so.
Okay, that was probably one. Yeah, Charlie made a good point. If you're going to fail at one, that was a good one to fail at. Yeah. You said 10,000 organic quote super fans. That must have been on Instagram.
No, there's no way we have 10,000 super fans right now. There's no way. But
I wrote 10,000 organic and then ... quote super fans. So that's cool. Yes. And then you talked about your other one. Your number 1 was a visual sunset het to visual, and you all said that clutch is still coming.
Into September, we got 8 eggs. 8 eggs, sunset to het sunset.
So really, we're picking an over-under now, not whether it'll happen. I mean,
we've just had a clutch where there was visual to het, and we got none.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. All right. All right. Well, I didn't mean to take over your segment. So,
no, you got it. You got
new
it.
Goals, and how are those going?
Thank you.
Kai?
My goal was to set up an OnlyFans account. No, I'm just kidding.
Damn it. I'm like,
I made 2.
I guess my goal was I didn't really have any like social media goals. I definitely wanted to make like more Ultramel stuff. I think that was pretty much my goal. I've been working on that for like 4 years and just haven't. Either the female was ready or the male wasn't ready, or vice versa. So yeah, that was my goal, was just to make more Ultramel stuff, and I did it. Yay!
Well, dude, you produced some killer stuff this year. No one can deny that. Absolutely killer stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Adam?
I wrote myself a note. It just says, "Be like Kai." That's
Take your shirt off.
Gotta pay extra. That'll be on my channel, my man. That will. I'll gladly do a fundraiser, but that ain't free.
OnlyFans. That's right, Steven.
I got no shame, but that ain't gonna be free. Let's see. My number 5 goal was to hit 5 to 8 clutches, which I did. I did do that. That's cool. Now this was all before I had stumbled into, in February, I bought a collection of 27 snakes, which I did not. I swear I had no intention of spending or spending that on snakes this year. But my number 4 was YouTube monetized and to more than double my subscribers. I don't know what number that would be. I got monetized and I'm on a good pace. I don't know if I'm on pace to double or not. We'll see. I'll have to go back and look. Finished my room and facility, and then I made some notes of floors, plumbing, and processes and systems. I did all that. I didn't realize that was in this year, though. So I plumbed that sink. I put in floors, and I'm kind of a nut about my processes and systems. That's going well. My number 2, get profitable and triple my gross from 2021. That's going to be a photo finish. I mean, it depends what's in that last clutch, and maybe if I sneak in one more clutch, I'll be primo. If I don't, we'll see what'll happen. And then, my number 1 goal, and really this was what I was going to put all my money to this year, and the only thing I was going to buy was going to be a double visual recessive clown pied was what I was going to spend. And for about what I would have spent on that animal is what I bought that collection for. But I did at Daytona, I picked up a double visual pied hypo, super pastel.
Nice.
So not quite clown pied caliber, but close.
Did you want a male clown pied or a female clown pied?
I wanted a male to put to, because I had all my visual.
Oh, okay.
I've got a bunch of visual female single recessives, so I was going to run that through.
Oh, nice.
A bunch of those.
Hit Danny up from DTMG
for
a clown pied.
Oh, I'm out of that money right now, man.
I was going to say, because he threw stuff out there in our group chat showing off clown pied stuff. I think he wanted to sell.
Well, so, does Danny like Gibson guitars?
He likes guns. Starts with G, but
yeah,
he sent me a picture of a generator. Because I need to get a generator, and he knows it. And I told him, like, I don't have the money for that right now. He goes, well, I take guns. I'm like, yeah, I don't have any I want to get rid of at the moment.
Well, I got plenty of guitars, but no guns, man. And plenty of guitars to sell too. I've got a few of them. You know, if some of those sell, I've been talking with Charlie. I might pick up one of his kind of deal. Just depends what moves. And I think we've all seen it. I mean, the heyday boom is kind of quieted, at least calmed down right now due to inflation and a little bit of uncertainty about the economy and that stuff. And I think we're seeing it in selling snakes too, but I'm certainly seeing it in selling guitars and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that actually, since you brought that up, Adam, that's another thing I want to talk about is what you guys all think about the state of the hobby and industry and how the economy is kind of affecting it sales wise. Since you guys were out there at Daytona, you've seen it from some top line breeders and stuff. What did you guys see as far as all that goes? I saw, and sorry, I'll jump in. I got about 15 minutes and I got to get to sleep with this crap I got, man. You're good, dude. You're good.
But I'll jump in on this. I talked about it some on my last show, so I'll just give you the quick synopsis. But and I won't speak for anybody else, but I saw prices all over the place, and I'll just leave that there. I'll tee that one up for Steven if he wishes to talk more about it. But some of the breeders I was talking to were basically saying, whether we want to admit it or not, price is probably going to come down a little bit. And then the other thing that they think, which I'm not 100% sure of, because these were kind of the old timers that really, really rely on the show revenue versus grinding it out on YouTube or social media or, Facebook groups and local work and that kind of thing. They were kind of at the point of saying, I think that this is the time where people are going to get pushed out because they've over leveraged themselves, a challenging economy, inflation, and the bottom is going to come down on those prices. Is those are their words, my synopsis of their words. I am of the opinion, and this is always my opinion that I was in restaurants too, and restaurants line every street of America. If you figure out how to reach your customers, they're still out there. You just got to reach them before your competitor does. So if you're not willing to go on, YouTube or put in the Instagram work, and you just wonder why shows aren't doing it anymore. Well, you might be dying a slow, painful death. I saw it with guitar shops when Guitar Center came around 20 years ago. They killed the mom and pop shops, and then eBay, Reverb, Facebook Marketplace is killing Guitar Center right now. So that's kind of what I see out there, and so it's two sides of the same coin. But I think it's slowed down a little bit, and I think that I do think there'll be some good values coming around. I think people are going to have produced so much and jumped in so deep that they are going to become. I think they're going to be frightened that they got to sell stuff rather than sitting on it and waiting for the market to come back around. Is my one man's gut feeling on that.
Yeah.
I coming from like being at Daytona, talking to people and seeing like going off of what Adam said, like prices being all over the place. I completely agree with pretty much everything Adam had just said. So to tell the story about it, and I'll get into the story in a second. So there were, as everybody's like aware, who's like been in for since 2020, there was a huge boom of people getting into the hobby, specifically the breeding hobby during COVID. And I think that the people, like ourselves included, like we are like this. Adam, we got in at roughly the same time. You were like that too. You got in during COVID kind of thing. And I'm sure a lot of other people are like this. I think that the people who got in during COVID are now at the point where we are producing animals. And a lot of these animals are maybe not necessarily like we're producing DG clowns, but we are producing things that are competing with the people who've been in for 20 years or 10 years or 15 years or something like that. And it doesn't mean that we have the volume of that. And I think that what happens is as you're getting the new breeders come in and you have an animal and you're like, okay, who's going to buy from me when nobody knows my name, when they could buy the exact same animal from Canova or Ozzy or Brock Wagner, Steve's Morphs, Bob, Josh Lumberg. Like, why would they buy from me? And that people cut the price. And what the story that Adam was referencing is we made one pickup in Daytona, and the pickup was an ultramel het pied female. And the reason why is I was leaving the bathroom, I'm walking by this booth, and I'm just glancing down at it, and I see the ultramel het pied female, and I see her price, and I'm like, that is way under. And I immediately pull open my phone, and I'm like, check Morph Market, and it was legitimately half of the price on Morph Market. In fact, Steve Morphs had ultramel het pieds at his table listed for $1,600. She was listed for $800. So I talked to the breeder, it was a smaller breeder, and they showed me pictures of the pairing. They explained everything. It was an ultramel pied to an ultramel.
And Stephen, sorry to interrupt, and I won't say who the breeder is. That's up to you if you want to. They're grinding. I mean, they've been at it a long time. They're at every Florida show. I mean, they're on the Florida circuit, man. And they do them all.
I don't want to share their name because I don't want.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want, but I'm saying that they are fairly well established, though.
But I was like, shit, yeah. I apologize. I apologize, Jamie.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
But I was like, yes, 100%. I'm buying this snake right now. Like, this is an amazing deal. And it was just, we're working the Sunset Ultramel project. So it's like at some point, hopefully, she'll be up to size and we could pair again, fingers crossed, years down the road, a Sunset Ultramel to her, make all Ultramels het Sunsets. That would be 50% het pied, but pied is one of the genes you can do genetic testing for. So I'm like, I'll do it 100%. Like, this is something that I want to get. And I think that this is going to continue going on. I think that newer breeders who are getting in and are just making, their like first kind of big combos that are worth a lot of money are afraid that they won't be able to sell them and that they're going to price them far lower than what the market is, and that it will end up driving prices down overall. And I think that this is going to continue happening for the next probably 2 to 3 years. And then I think that will end up happening is that the people who survive the next 2 to 3 years who got in during COVID will have established themselves and they won't feel the need to do that anymore. And I think that it will like somebody had said earlier, it's going through a correction. And I think that prices are going to be all over the place.
But you can make money in down markets and up markets. I mean, the investments you can make right now are great. And Brandon Brandon brought up a really good point. The high end stuff was still selling. I mean, I'll bring up Steve's morphs again. I know for a fact he sold a $10,500 snake that morning, the first day before we even got in. So, like, there's still stuff out there. And I think I'll be interested in Kai's experience because he deals in some of this stuff. But, somebody asked where the market was going. Last year, I heard, like, I would hear the expression, the industry's going towards double and triple recessives. And that's what I was hearing. This year, it's what I was seeing. Man, it's out there, man. Well, like I said, I bought one myself. But so that's kind of that. We've left out the pet owner equation and kind of the recession-proof, Christmas is coming kind of thing. Maybe that's what I need to do is just sit on my normals should I wholesale them or should I sit on my normals or my hepides? They're all hepides. But
Are you planning on vending a show?
No, I don't have any vending equipment. That overhead is prohibitive to me right now.
No, I get that.
See, that's what I'm waiting for with some of mine is just for the show I'm vending in November there at Gettysburg. Because I'll have a lesser, a Mojave, a very nice looking GHI. I mean, I'm still probably gonna throw them up on Morph Market because why not? But I'm figuring if they don't sell, hey, oh well. I'll have some Het DG males going up for sale on Morph Market as well. But basically I'm holding on to all that stuff, figuring it's hopefully going to move at Gettysburg, especially the Het DG stuff. There's some really nice animals there in that clutch. But you guys will get to see. I might throw that video up this week, Wednesday's video, the clutch cutting in number 2.
And there's some good points. I saw, and it's out there on YouTube, so I'm not calling anybody out. Hardwired Exotics and Garrick DeMeyer, those guys were running basically wholesale price sales within the past 2 weeks to free up space. I mean, it's not just the little guys that didn't plan right. Like this is, I think it is a bit of a market correction.
2 things I want to say on it is, and I think that people talked about it in the chat. I know at Daytona, people did make money. People did sell stuff. That was a lot. I know that Michael from Dreamweaver, it was his best show he's ever done, period. Yeah. And I know Brock, he sold the Hypo Sunset there. He sold a $10,000, it was a Mojave Yellow Belly Sunset. He sold a Leopard Sunset 66% het pied that was listed at $7,000. And those are just the snakes that I know for a fact. People are still buying stuff and they're still spending a lot of money on it. It's just, I think that the animals that have a lot of competition is where I think that the prices are going to be wild.
Yeah.
And then the second thing that I had was, if it's all right, if you don't want to, I can wait on this. Straight Blast had asked in the chat for someone to explain the sunset gene to him because there's something he's just not seeing about it. Do you guys mind if I make a pitch on sunset real quick?
Go ahead, brother.
Okay. So first, I will give my disclaimer on this. I am biased. Sunset is 100% my favorite morph, and we're in the project. We are very heavily in the project. So it's understand that this is my opinion, not necessarily saying that this is for everybody. I think Brandon talks about it in the chat too. It's a color and pattern mutation that brings in lots of rusty oranges, reds, golds, and it really depends on both the individual animal and the combo that it's in to determine how much of the orange colors you're going to get and how much is going to stay. We have a single gene sunset male that is coming up on 2 years old that is just looks amazing. Has just as much oranges now as when he was a baby. In fact, I'd probably say he's lightened as he's gotten older. But then there's other sunsets where you see them as adults and they look very brown. So it happens. It just kind of depends on your thing. I think that the reason why the Sunset Project is so cool is if you are looking at other base recessive mutations, clown, Lavender albino, pied, desert ghost, hypo, sunset looks, I would say of all of those, pied looks the most different from a normal. Sunset is number 2. Like sunset looks so different than a normal that it's wild. And I think that and this is why people like the project so much, is it has such a different color palette than any other ball python, that people are really excited about all of the different ways that you can get different combinations and different looks with ball pythons that you can't get with any other morph, because there's nothing else like it. And I think that is what drives the popularity of the project. That's what drives the prices of the project, because especially now that a lot of the combos are coming out that look amazing, like sunset yellow bellies look amazing. They like glow. The sunset ultramels, sunset pied, sunset clown, sunset hypo, pretty much a lot of things looks really, really, really good in sunset. And that's why I think that the project is going to do so well, and will continue, or it has done so well and will continue to do so well.
I know there's been some killer combos like what was that? It was sunset. Was it lavender? A lavender sunset? I think I said about it in another live or so back, and the thing was like insane orange.
Oh yeah.
I was really shocked with how intense the orange was on it with that combo. I don't know if I knew what to exactly expect, but it definitely caught my eye.
Oh, I was just saying, Kai, you're also really into the project. What's your thoughts on, like, how would you, if someone was like, I'm interested, but explain the project to me?
Listen, everything you said, I know you said their opinions, but I regard them as facts.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, they look better in person. I mean, I try to get a good picture of them, put it in my video. They look great. Get a lot of compliments on them, but they actually look better even in person. And I think one of the draws for me is that it hasn't been worked with that much. So there's like this unpredictability when you work with them. Like, if you put a gene in there and it's never been created before, like what does that do? So that's something that drew me into it. And plus I like pies a lot, and seeing the double visual sunset pied, that's what like made me want to go and get one, right? But there wasn't any double visuals, and I don't know if I had the bank account to buy one, so I bought a sunset, and then now I'm putting it to a bunch of pies, and hopefully I'll make my own pied army. But I agree with a lot of the stuff you said, and I did see that lavender sunset. What was the other one before that? There was another one before that.
Ultramel sunset, which is what I was thinking I was talking about. I think the Ultramel sun, and Steven and Courtney sent that to me as well, which I thought you couldn't get any more orange. Until I saw this lavender sunset, which blew the Ultramel sunset completely out of the water.
Just wait until somebody makes like a candy sunset or a Candino sunset.
And then they throw DG into it.
Yeah. There's so much
sunglasses on.
And again, right now, people are making combos, and I think people are seeing the amazing combos that are being made, and that's driving interest in it. But I mean, how long was Clown around before the Pompeii came out? Like
2 years.
2 years. 2 years is how long clowns were being worked. Like it could be, there could be some wild 3 or 4 gene combination with Sunset that could just literally change the entire ball python hobby, where everybody's like, I want Sunset. And I think that part of that potential is why people are getting into it now. They want to be one of the people who finds that kind of combo.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I want to see what, because you hit some bumblebees that are at Sunset, right, Kai?
There's one left.
You didn't keep any of them.
No, I have another clutch of hypo. That'll be hypo Sunset as well.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be double hets instead of just het for Sunset.
Okay. I said, because I want to see what a spider sunset or bumblebee sunset looks like. Because I saw someone comment, I don't know where it was, but they said that like bumblebees and spiders don't look good with sunset. And I'm there thinking, it's like, I don't see how a bumblebee sunset wouldn't look good.
It brings up so much white that you lose the oranges.
Oh, really?
And the pastel washes out so mixing them both together. But to Dylan's point, I don't think the albino sunset turned out very good.
It looks like an albino with a different pattern.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like
that's kind of what it's expected, though. because albinos just take out all the color, it just leaves white and yellow no matter what. But if you use the T positive, like I said, candy, and you guys saw the ultramel and the lavender, if there's a rainbow version of it, toffino version. So I made double hets for sunset and candina because I used the female's a candina, so there's no way to know if she's her offsprings are heifer albino or heifer candy. But I could just take any two of those, like a male and a female pair, and I'll have a 75% chance of producing sunsets with some color because both candino and candy have color, right? So the only way you would produce another albino is that, well, not the only way you can produce it, but you would only get a 25% chance if you just randomly pick two animals out of that clutch to put together. Otherwise, you'll produce one with color because they'll either be candinos or pure candies.
Brandon says in the chat, to get the oranges, you need the black parts of the pattern is 100% true. You need the actual dark morphs. The dark morphs look at sunset. It is the black parts which turn into the reds and oranges.
Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I think leopard does so well, because leopard makes the black bands all over the place, very thick blacks.
The way I see it,
Crazy
things that look good in albino and banana, and they look good in sunset. That's how I see it.
Yeah. And yellow belly looks incredible.
Yellow belly looks good.
Oh yeah, yellow belly looks awesome.
Except more yellow belly.
Guys, I gotta go to bed.
Real quick, Adam. Real quick. What did the guitar sell for? Because I know Kai was wondering that too. I was kind of curious.
I think you said it in one of your videos. I don't remember.
Yeah,
it was like
I think I was incorrect. I think I said 3,400. It sold for 2,400 is what it sold for. So, look, we were hoping it would go for more. They auctioned it really early in the auction. Just selfishly, the idea of an auction is you let people get drunk and have a good time and get a little richer, But it was cool. Eugene Bissett is the guy who bought it, and he is one of the people with US Arc Florida. So I was really pumped to have that he bought it, and I met with him the next day, and we actually connected. And he's working hard on the Florida laws, though. He's one of the US Arc lawyers, which is really, really cool. So I was happy to be a part of it, and it was a really cool experience, and it went to a cool guy. So what more?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
What's that?
Speaking of getting drunk, I heard there's a lot of bromances in Daytona. What was that about?
I don't think I was part of one, but maybe. I mean, I had a lot to drink, so who knows? I mean, maybe you'll have to tune in to the OnlyFans to find out. Miguel and I hung out, we were hanging out. I was hanging out with Jeremy Baud and Jeannie at the auction, and Shannon Peck was there. And then at some point, I went. Oh, because the cocktail line in like the banquet bar was forever long. You just go downstairs to the actual bar. So we did that, and then I don't know. After the auction, I was hanging out with Steve Casino, Dale, one of the ladies from Kittinger, but Jason wasn't there. Miguel, Josh Jensen was doing kung fu. That's true. That's real. That happened. And then somewhere in there, I dismissed myself and went to bed, and suddenly it was morning. So that's what was.
I thought the bromance was specifically Bob Vu and Josh Lundberg.
Is that what it is?
Was the two of them.
To who?
Josh, Ball Python Shed, and Bob's Balls.
Oh, I don't know what happened there.
Oh no, they're just awesome. They're like the best friends.
Yeah, Bob was wearing some like unzipped spandex.
That's his auction outfit. You haven't seen that? His maid's outfit?
No, it didn't leave that much to imagination. So that's depending on how you look at it, could be a plus or a minus, I guess.
That's funny.
It's a plus to you, baby, right?
And then she walks away.
Coming on the night, bro. I hope you start feeling better because I know you were kind of feeling crappy on Tuesday during your live as well.
I'm just trying to knock it out. But anyhow, yeah. Hey, thank you for having me, Jeremy. I'm sorry to cut it short. That's always a pleasure, man, and hanging out, being a part of this panel.
Thank you.
So Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Man, look at Kike. Thank you, Kike. Very like right there. We don't even have to go anymore. Thank y'all very much. And I'll see all of you soon. And I'm sure, actually, we got to make some dates. Like, all of you got to get on the show like this year or early next year. So I'll be in touch, guys.
Hit me
All
up,
right.
bro. Hit me up. I'm always game.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Good to see everybody.
See you.
Feel better,
Good night,
man.
Adam. Take care.
Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you, Kike, for being the man on just the man with the links. I don't know what I was trying to say there at first. Shoot. See, Kike's got Steven and Courtney. Dang, all right, Kike. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Always coming in
Also,
clutch.
everybody, Adam, Stevens, and Kai's links are in the description down below. If you're not subscribed to them, go down, click all the links, subscribe, follow, check out their morph markets. You won't regret it. All right, let me see here. Okay, here we Kai, have you gone to any shows lately? Because this might end up being more on Steven and Courtney's end here.
No, I haven't been.
All right, Steven, when you guys were down there at Daytona, how did you notice, like, with all the breeders there, are they mainly focused on one species? Or are they working with like multiple species, like say like a main base and then like a side project with another species, or how's all that?
There's a lot of boas, a lot of hognoses, a lot of corn snakes, and all those people also had ball pythons.
Yeah. I would say, like, you can tell, like, somebody who is a ball python breeder, and a lot of times they'll just have their ball pythons. But then you can see, like, a breeder who just does reptiles, and they'll also have ball pythons there.
I think pretty much every reptile breeder is dipping their toes in ball pythons, is what it looked like at shows. Is that it? Like, you'd have a couple that were specifically like hognose. There was a lot of hognose at Daytona. But everyone who had boas or like other colubrids, they always had like a couple ball pythons. And what I noticed about Daytona this show versus last year is this year it was a lot of hets and double hets, whereas last year it was a lot of visual and like very visually stunning animals. This year it was a lot of like powerful hets.
Okay.
And then
go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say the other one I noticed was, like, Adam talked about it a little bit earlier, a lot of double visual stuff. Like, there was probably 10 desert ghost clowns at that show.
I saw like 2.
I was like, I mean, Fireball himself, like that one.
Fireball, yeah.
Like, there was a lot of stuff like that. I would say specifically on the I guess a little bit of tea on the Daytona show, a lot of people were mad about it.
I heard that there were some complaints about the lines and stuff and how they were working that.
So what happened? Have you been to Daytona?
No.
So
I would love to go, but then after hearing people complain about being out in the heat and sun like crazy, that kind of.
I think it was shitty for the vendor. Sorry, I think it was not as good for the vendors, but it wasn't that bad for like the customers once it got going. What the convention center is it has like a big, open, beautiful convention center, and then it has like a basketball arena. And what they did this year is they opened both the big, beautiful convention center and also the dark, less bright and beautiful basketball arena. And all these vendors ended up in the arena and were like, hey, I paid the same amount for the guys in the well-lit room. What's going on here? And they're like, oh, no, we'll make it up to you. So what they did to make it up to them is when the doors opened, all these people who have bought their tickets, and you can only buy tickets at the door with cash. So you have to get there, stand in line to get your ticket, and then go get in line. Well, they open the doors at 10 and they don't open the doors to all the people who are in line. They open the basketball arena side to be like, oh, we'll make it up to you. We'll give you guys an extra hour. And they say, oh, we're not going to open this door for everybody who's been standing in line until 11. this side over here, you have to go over there first.
That line was out the door. Like summer heat in like Florida, and they don't go down the line telling them. So people are just waiting. They know it's supposed to open at 10. They're just waiting in the summer heat.
And they just didn't
until
tell
11.
And the vendors who were on that side, they paid for 11 to 4. They didn't pay
10 to,
sorry,
10
they
to
paid
5.
for 10 to 5. They didn't pay for 11 to 5. So they have everyone going in one side, and that's fine for like us who got there right at 10, bought our tickets, and walked into the like arena. And then by the time we were done in there, we just headed over to the other side where the doors were already open. But like, why would people like who have been waiting in line for an hour to go to a specific table, who like they got there early so that they could be there first and get that animal they were looking for, and now they have to wait an extra hour? Nah.
And then at the end of the show, so the show's open till 5. 4:30 hits, and the staff turns off all the lights and tells everybody they have to leave.
They say everyone has to be out by 5. Like
Yep.
vendors have to be out by 5.
Yep. So there'd be people who are like, I bought an animal and I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I have to go to the booth, and like, sorry, you have to come back tomorrow. Like, I won't be here tomorrow.
Like, I need to pick up my animal.
I already paid 4 minutes because it was at 4:30, not at 5. Like,
Yeah.
it was, people were mad.
Yeah, that sounds a little, yeah.
So a lot of vendors were pretty pissed about that, and a lot of customers were pretty pissed about that. We didn't have a bad experience, but we also weren't like on the prowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like we were talking to Justin from Morph Jungle, and he was saying that he was literally working with a customer. The lights go out, and he had to get a flashlight to finish up the like transaction.
Yeah, he pulled his phone out to get or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no warning. It just the lights went out.
They kind of like made an announcement that was like, "All right, everybody," but they didn't say, "Hey, we're gonna cut the lights out on you and grab your customers in a chokehold
And force them to leave
Yeah.
like 30 minutes before the show ends.
And people paid for their tickets,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
the vendors paid for their tables. I don't know.
I think, I mean, I understand you got to have a cutoff point at some point, or everybody will just hang out. But at the same
How about the
token,
time-
you know, be a little like, there's ways to go about it where it's proper.
Yeah.
You just don't cut the lights off and say,
If you
get
want
out.
the lights out at 4:30, sell your tickets till 4:30.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that overall, it was a fun show. It was good hanging out with people and seeing people, but the management of the show was subpar.
Okay. Now, did you guys notice, like, this is just me being nosy and curious. Were there many carpet python breeders there? I'm just curious as to like how many carpet breeders there are.
I
It
know,
doesn't
I,
seem
know
like
I
there's
saw carpet pythons there, but I don't remember it being more than 2 places.
Okay.
But I like them, so I always notice them, but I don't remember a whole lot of them.
Okay. It just seems like there's either like one there, like one person has a couple of them, or there's none. And it's very few and far between is what I'm noticing at shows. So I was just kind of,
Sorry.
no, you're fine. I was just trying to get a feel. Like, I figured at a big show like Daytona, there would have been a bunch, but maybe
We went
not.
to Columbia, like a local show this week, and I saw carpet pythons there. I saw everything at the Columbia show this past weekend. Way
okay.
more variety than
Mhm.
at Daytona. Daytona was a big ball python show and hognose.
Yeah, the Columbia show was just about every animal.
Yeah, crocodile skinks to potbelly pigs.
Yeah, because it's a hot show too. So
Yeah, they have venomous. They have any kind of turtle you can imagine.
That's kind of how a lot of shows up here are. Just about every show here. I think even at Battlefield there's some venomous stuff, but I know Hamburg there's a lot of venomous stuff. Since everybody's in the chat here from PA's talking about Hamburg.
Mm-hmm.
Hamburg's like a huge show, but it's so freaking crowded. I mean, it is crowded to the point where like the last show I was at there when I picked up my male carpet, I mean, there were people there that, I mean, they were just sweating like buckets. It was that stinking hot in there because they don't have anything to keep it cool inside. So I don't know. They need to find a different place, I think.
We've got 2 shows we're for sure wanting to vend this year, but we may need to do like one more.
Yeah. It just all kind of depends on what's going on. Courtney's been crushing it on. All right, so for you guys, how have sales been? Like,
I haven't made any sales yet this year.
Okay.
Just
Kai?
because I haven't had. Well, or I have. Shameless plug, real quick. If anybody's looking for an awesome boa, check out my Morph Market. The one boa one baby that Mike produced this year is on there. Check it out. That's really the only thing that's on our Morph Market at the moment. I will have stuff to throw up shortly because most of the hatchlings are like smashing food. So I'm thinking like 2 more weeks I'll start putting up hatchlings. But other than that, I don't have anything up yet for sale.
Yeah. To kind of just go back, I know we were talking about goals before. One of my goals is to have this replace my 9-to-5, and with the way things were going a couple months ago, my sales really slowed down. And I was talking to other friends that are, have collections that are similar size to mine, and they kind of experience the same thing. I was talking to one of my friends, and because you guys asking like how are things in like this situation that we're in now, and one of my friends said, well, if you can make it in this situation, you should be able to make it when the situation gets better. So that's what I'm hoping for, is that like I can still make a good profit or sales, however you want to call it, this year, and then hopefully when things turn around next year, it'll really be better, and then maybe I can actually use this to replace my 9-to-5. But sales, like I said, it slowed down, like way down for a while, but now it's starting to pick back up, for me at least. I don't know about you guys. I posted some sub-adults, I posted some hatchlings, and a lot of stuff went to the point where I was a little bit worried in the beginning about the number of hatchlings that I need to house, but now I'm a little less worried.
All right.
See, that's my goal, to make this everything in like 8 years. Just being realistic for how fast I'm predicting I'm going to grow. So I'm hoping in 8 years I can be saying that exact thing, Kai, that this is the year, hopefully, that I can say I'm done doing driveways and enjoy doing what I do. And then we can expect a video a day from you, Kai. A video a day.
I think
yeah, you're pushing it a little bit.
when we were looking at space, we were always like, okay, but we'll be selling animals, and we are selling animals. We've got 10 animals sold right now in our rack still because they're on payment plans. So they're still at the house, still getting fed by us, still taking up space. And it's like good because they're sold and we've got them, like, or not. Some of them are sold and they just needed a few more meals before we shipped. I think I'm shipping out 2.
Do you guys take credit cards?
Yeah.
See, I take credit cards too, and I'm just thinking, like, why did you ask for a payment plan if you can just pay it by credit card? Because it's still 30 days. Like, I'm still going to give you.
They're probably paying the interest.
But not if you pay it off within the month.
Not when it's a $200 snake, right?
Yeah.
No, that was going to be my next question. Is what's the monetary value?
Every single snake.
I think we have upfront.
Somebody will want to do a payment.
No. This year we sold without taking a deposit. We have sold 3 snakes. We have sold 13 snakes this season. We have taken deposits. Our highest selling price point this season, because our first clutch was a banana clutch and then a bell clutch. Our most expensive animal that we've sold is $320.
So far.
So far. And we have taken 10 deposits or payment plans, all under. And they're not payment plans. They're not like, oh, we'll pay every month. It's like, hey, I'm going to put this on hold until my next paycheck, and then I'll pay it off.
Yeah.
So I guess that's not payment plans, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's kind of like what
Yeah.
Kmart used to do, the layaway thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Here's what I want. I'll pay you here. Sure.
So for like how long we'll hold an animal, our longest that we'll do is for like over $1,000. We will do actual payment plans
I
of
think it's-
20% down, and
Is
then
it 20% or is it 25?
I thought it was 20, and then I just check our morph market for the exact amount, but pretty much 4 months is the farthest out you can go for
Yeah.
us.
It'd be
You
like
guys are a lot more generous than me. I don't want to
think
go out
it's
4
3
months.
I think the first month you put money down counts as the first month. So I think it's 25% down and then 3 more.
25. It's like 1
Yeah.
month after. So yeah, it'd be 3
So
months.
3
2
months, sorry. And that's for animals over a certain
1,000.
price point. Yeah.
One thing. So one thing that we've been doing is we have throughout this last year been kind of anybody who says that they're interested in a clutch, we'll add them to a list. And then we've been sending out like newsletters being like, hey, here's this clutch that we just had. They're ready to go on Morph Market on this date. If you want to buy one of these animals before they go on Morph Market, this is like the reduced price for it. And it just kind of depends on exactly what it is, but about between 10 and 20% off on what it, just depending on exactly how much the animal is what we do. But our thing on it is normally last year we said that if somebody was going to do a payment plan, it was like full retail price, not like discounts and all that stuff. But because in this specific situation, and only in this specific situation, these are people who have said, I want to get a snake from your red stripe yellow belly to sunset clutch. Please let me know when you have them. And they've been waiting for months. And the idea that they've been waiting for months, and then at the drop of the hat, we're like, hey, you need to come off of $2,500, $3,000 like that, or somebody else is get it. We felt like that was bad. So we will do payment plans for that.
I don't think we ever actually had somebody take more than a month to pay off a snake. But we also didn't have any snakes over $3,000 last year.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times when I hold the snake, but for me, the payment plan is 30 days, unless they need an extension, and that's a case-by-case basis. But I've held snakes for like half a year because just never lined up the dates, our schedule, weather, things get in the way. One time I ran out of boxes, so that was on me. But yeah, I think the longest was like 6 months. But that was an outlier though. Everything else is usually like 30 days whenever they finish their payment. There was one time, this girl, she was very good with her payments until the very last payment. And I was like, wow, like it's not like her to and I'm assuming it's a girl. It's not like this person to not pay and not even like respond back in the emails. So I'm like, what's going on? So I just kept messaging her Messenger. I didn't want to just be like, hey, I got your money, I'm keeping it now, that type of situation. and it turns out she got really ill. I don't know, I didn't pry what it was, but she was in the hospital for like a long time. And I was like, oh, okay, well, take your time then. And then she ended up like making the payment, like I guess when she got better enough to actually get her phone and type it in, because for like a couple of weeks I was talking to, I think, her sister or somebody else, just seeing how she is and when they want the snake, because there's no point for me to send the snake if she's in the hospital, like what do you so yeah.
We have a lot of people who will send an invoice to, and man, people have issues with their accounts all the time. And all of a sudden, or people get fired the same day I send them an invoice quite often.
Just coincidentally.
Just coincidentally, they lose their job that same day.
I was there when like last season, for my first season, I had a bunch of people want several different snakes. And I was, I guess, being naive, maybe going off of the whole honor system thing. And I didn't make anybody put a deposit down on them because they seemed like they were genuinely very interested because they'd stayed in contact with me. So when time came, and I told them, hey, the snakes are ready to go. This is what it is. That was it. Like they were gone. It's like this whole time I had people hitting me up for these snakes, that were ready to drop the money on them, you know, right then and there. And, you know, I lost out on all those opportunities. So after that, it's when I think I want like 10% or something like that down, just as like a down payment. Just, and, you know, that way, if they decide to fall off the edge of the earth like some did, you know, it's kind of their loss then. It's not like
I think people like drunk inquire on animals. That's what I think it is. Because I'll get an email or a text message like, "Oh, I'm really interested in this. What do we do now?" I was like, "Well, you know, you have to pay and all this stuff. Like, what's your preferred payment method?" And they'll select one from the list that I provide, and then I'll send the invoice or the request, and then nothing. That's it. They got sober at the very last second.
Yeah, we see people who are like, "Hey, what's this $50 charge?" And I'm like, "That's shipping." And they're like, "Oh, I don't want it anymore." And it's like, I get that, but like it says $50 shipping. And a lot of people charge you the actual shipping amount. We just do the flat 50.
Yeah, and we just eat whatever the difference is. But yeah, like we not for like, it isn't a guaranteed kind of thing, but I would say that most of the time, if somebody is like nice to deal with and they're like, "Hey, would you do free shipping?" We'll probably do free shipping. Like,
people are watching this.
Yeah, like, but
there's 51 people watching this too.
You're not talking to Steven when you're buying a snake. I'm just saying.
The thing is on it is, I think that we really try to go off of the idea of we want a consumer to have an amazing experience with us that they tell other people about. Like, and if the difference is $50 and that's going to make somebody feel really I mean, Courtney's actually done this where somebody like agreed to pay full price and she gave them free shipping afterwards.
Yeah, because I didn't have to haggle. I was like, "Hell yeah, I like you."
Like, yeah. But then if it's like the type of thing where it's like, "Hey, I need 9 million pictures, a video, and like, how much have they weighed today and tomorrow, and have they eaten today?
Are they in a good mood today?"
Like that's when it's like getting to the point where it's like, "Oh my god, this is a $50 snake."
Yeah.
So the point here is, when you inquire about Leviathan snakes, make sure you're talking to Steven when you ask for free shipping.
You might
typically ask for Steven.
Something doesn't do it.
Courtney does the sales, and we specifically set it up like that. We've talked about this because it does get a lot for her. It would be more confusing if we were both doing it, where if like somebody's like, "Hey, do you have this animal available?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's great." And then she's like, "I was already talking to somebody."
I think
about
that actually happened last year, and that's why we're not doing it again. That and negotiation stresses Steven out.
Oh, it does. I hate it. I hate negotiating.
I'm with you. I completely get where you're coming from there, Main Squeeze, on that one. That's kind of like some of the shipping quotes, like this for the 1K giveaway snake, that leopard lesser spot nose that I had to ship out. I think shipping for that was like $90.
Jeez.
And it's
Yeah.
I mean, shipping hurts right now.
No, don't get me wrong. We don't ship very far. It's like $70 and we eat the extra 20, not the full 70.
So yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Like I figure at some point, like up to say like where's Brandon's thing at, which I really liked how he had that set up. I lost it.
I've been shipping to Utah, Texas, California, and you know, sometimes I have to use a bigger box, like slightly bigger than the 12 by 9 by 7, I think, for like the sub-adults and adults.
Mm-hmm.
They cost over $100, and some of the animals, you know, I offer free shipping. Anything that's not free shipping, I just offer, you know, kind of like what you guys do, but mine's at 40. They just offer flat 40.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. No, but I don't use Shipper Reptiles or Reptile Express anymore. I just go through FedEx directly. So you might want to try doing that, because the cost came out to be about the same, like $1 off or something like that.
Yeah.
What's that?
But do you get any insurance on it?
Yeah, it just takes a little bit longer, because so what happens? So if you go through Shipper Reptiles, they have the account with FedEx, right? So they know that they're going to get the money back. So that way they could offer you your return or your refund right away. But for me, I go directly through FedEx, so it typically takes them about a week for that invoice to reach their their refund department, and then they'll refund it to me. So it takes a little bit longer, but yeah, insurance and on-time arrival, that's all still the same. But what I was saying, like, shipping cost is the same, but you get more like promotional offers. So like if I ship 3 packages within a month, I get like a $10 gift card or something like
No, I
that.
didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
You know, Ship Your Reptiles makes it sound like you get better deals going through them.
It came out to be the same. Like I don't know what, like, because they kind of offer discounts at personal levels, so it's not like everybody gets the same. And it also depends on when, who you talk to. Like I talked to Robin when he was still there, and he gave me a really steep discount. But when I looked at so when Ship Your Reptiles and I guess Morph Market joined forces, they were offering a discount, and I'm like, that's the same that I'm getting. I thought I got a really steep one, but everybody gets it apparently. So I called them, and they gave me a little bit more. But even that, a little bit more discount still is the same to what I'm getting directly from FedEx. And also, like, if I start shipping out more and more, they'll have a representative who's handling your account call you and tell you that you get an even steeper discount. So it kind of works out better if you just go with FedEx directly, because they'll offer you promotions directly rather than, going through. I mean, nothing against like Ship Your Reptiles, Reptile Express. I think that's what I started with, and it worked out really well. But they because they essentially, it's like every package that you ship out through those websites, those companies, it's like them shipping it out through FedEx. They're the ones with the account, right? So you might be paying, I don't know, let's just say you're paying 60%, right? You get a 40% discount, just like on Morph Market. Let's say you're paying 60% to them, but their discount with FedEx is probably even more, right? Because they're shipping in volume. Yeah. So that's how they I think that's how they kind of make their money is that middle person, being that middle person.
Yeah. I know when we were at Daytona, we were talking to Brock about it, and he does direct to FedEx, and because he has such high volume, like shipping with FedEx, that he like gets a lot of it makes more sense for him to do that.
Yeah. So, like my friend sells snakes. I'm sorry, he doesn't sell snakes. He sells fish, and so like he ships a lot of stuff out. And so we both had the same FedEx app on our phones, right? And I used my account, and I plugged in the numbers for one of my packages, and then I used his account with his phone. I plugged in the same numbers, but like on my phone, it just says the original cost, and then the discount, and then here's the final price of that package. But then on his, because he ships so much out, it's like, here's the original price, here's discount, discount, here's the original. I was like, oh my God, why can't I use your account?
That would be, yeah, I'd like to see some discounts.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to be like Adam and peace out. We'll see you later.
Okay.
Chatting.
See ya. I want to get a drink real quick. I'll be back.
No, you're good, Kyle. You're good. Let's see here. Kind of covered that. All right, Steven, we're going to touch base on a marketing thing. It's slightly marketing. What's because since I did that little plug about joining my the YouTube membership thing for Warfels Morphs, what's your thought on the whole YouTube membership things for channels?
So I view YouTube memberships as pretty much the same thing as Patreon. Yep. I think that both of them have their place, and I think that their place is allowing people who are fans of a content creator or fans of a brand or anything like that, that they want to show support. Essentially, they want to be like, hey, I really like the content that Jeremy makes, and there's not really a snake that I'm looking to purchase, but I do want to support him, so I'm going to pretty much like give him some money every now and then, whether it's a super chat or it's the membership once a month. It's the idea of like tipping a musician that you like if you're at a bar, in my opinion. The thing that I think there is a danger to them. And I think that the danger comes. What's up? I don't think so because I'm hardlined in. So
The danger. A danger that comes to it.
A danger. Hold on. I was just answering his thing. I don't know if we did. I know. Were you the ones who had messaged us on Instagram? Because we went looking, but I don't think that we found you guys. If you guys were the ones, you had told us the table number, or somebody had told us their table number. But anyway, so I think that there's a danger to the Patreon channel memberships, things like that. And the danger is if you monetize, and I don't mean monetize on like getting ad revenue or somebody doing a super chat, but if you start fragmenting your community into like, here is a group of people who pay me money monthly and they are more important than the people who tune in and watch and all that stuff, especially if you do it too early, you will stifle your growth. What will end up happening is that you aren't going to start building up your organic audience of just people who are watching because they enjoy your content if you start making it feel like that there is an in group. And then because what will happen is new people will come to your channel and they'll be like, well, I'm not on his Patreon and I don't really know him that well. I like his content, but I'm not like that. And it creates distance between you. And that's why we don't have a Patreon right now. And we don't have YouTube channel membership, because we want to, on our phase right now, realistically, what we want to do in our marketing strategy is build as much awareness for us as possible. We want to get to the point where anybody in the reptile community would hear Leviathan snakes, and not that they've necessarily interacted, be like, oh yeah, I've heard of them. Like, what they're kind of like into Sunset or something like that. We want to get, that's the stage that we are in. Yeah. And I think that you move into the other stage where you're building like a niche community inside of your regular community. Once you've already built so much awareness, so much engagement and trust within your organic community, that now you're like, hey, I don't have enough time. I love all of you guys, but I genuinely don't have enough time to talk to all of you guys. If you really, really want to get on the phone with me and talk about marketing for an hour or 2 hours, please join our Patreon at this level. That's where I feel like that it comes in. It's not about like people doing it too early and they're doing something bad, but I think that if you do it prematurely, you stifle your growth.
Yeah, gotcha. I agree. I think you should wait until your customers or the market creates that need in order for you to start that niche or that clicky party by using Patreon or something. Because I mean, right now, like the content that I'm putting out there, it's helpful to me because I'm marketing myself. I'm showing what animals I create. So I don't feel like charging for that. And plus, YouTube already pays me $1.
And see, like the reason, because I thought it's like, what, I'm just gonna give it a shot, see what happens. But I don't like. Basically, I like you were saying, Steven, I didn't want to have that divide or have that little in-group type of feel. So I tried to make it to where like it's just more of like you get like for the top tier, for instance, you get like a one live stream just that's members only a month. You get 10% off of any snakes on Morph Market after 3 months. You get first access to any snakes that are going to be up for sale. Trying to think, you get a special shirt, like instead of like the traditional like green like this, it'll be that colored logo that I did. Where the carpet's actually yellow and the ball python's actually white, so it looks exantic. I tried to keep it to where you didn't have that niche group feel to it, but to where the people that want to support a little bit more are feeling like they're getting a little something out of what they're spending.
If we were to do it, which we're not planning on doing it for anytime soon, but if we were to do it, the model that I like the most when it comes to Patreon, because there are people that I support on Patreon just because I like them. Like we support Brian Kuskell on Patreon just because I like him. We support Chris Eaton on Patreon just because we like him. But the model I like the most is Miguel's from Always Evolving Python, where the fees that you pay for Patreon go as a discount for a future snake.
I
So
knew
it's
you
a-
were going to say that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that what that does, especially if you are treating everybody the same, it's giving people that option to like support you in the meantime, but then they get like the full value of their thing back.
Mhm.
And I like that model. I think that it's a healthy model where it's not going to stifle your growth. We're like, hey, I got a Patreon. Just so you know, I treat everybody the same. But if you do join my Patreon, any money that you spend on my Patreon or anything, we don't have Patreon, by the way. Any money you spend on this, you get that towards a snake purchase in the future. And what this does is it essentially gives you a market of people who are already invested in buying a snake from you. Because if you're somebody who is supporting someone on Patreon or YouTube channel memberships for 6 months and they've been paying $20 a month, they got $120 credit on with you. They might be like, oh, what does he have available? I want to find something to use my credit on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's incentive to buy as well because you want to ultimately get your value back. Hey, is there a time limit on that? Is it just like the money that you pay within the current year you'll get back, or is it like from the beginning of time? So if I was on his Patreon for like 5 years and I never used my credit, am I getting a Pompeii from him for free?
I have heard. I'll talk offline about this.
Okay. Sorry.
I'll talk to you about because yeah.
Flora says they bought a PVC. It was $67 a sheet. Now they are $100 a sheet. They're
Yes.
all paying a per line freedom. See, I got to
Yes.
get PVC racks made up for these, or PVC enclosures made up for the carpets.
I was just at Home Depot yesterday. I went to the Home Depot near me who cuts the PVC sheets for me, and they, according to their website, there's 23 in stock. I get there and they said we can't find them. I'm like, how do you lose 23 sheets of PVC at $100? That's like $2,300 that you guys are down. And they're like, I don't know what to tell you. So then I looked at the nearby places. Another one nearby, he only had 14. I'm like, that's even less. And then another place had like 40. So I went there, but for some reason they don't want to cut the PVC sheets for me. Luckily, I brought my battery, my cordless saw. So I ended up cutting it all in 91-degree weather in their parking lot. So now I started assembling 2 of them, and then the other 3 are just sitting because I don't need them right now. But yeah, they did increase in price. They were almost $170 at one point.
Oh wow! So at least the prices come down some then.
A little bit, yeah.
Because see, I had originally thought about building my own because I thought how hard could it really be to like build a PVC enclosure for a carpet, but I couldn't find black at all. Everything's white, and so I just kind of thought, like, you know what? I got in touch with Chris from BNS Reptilia hooked me up with Ed, and I was talking to Ed, and it's like for the price and he thought he was overcharging me or he felt bad with the price he quoted me. I was ecstatic about the price he quoted me because I figured it was going to be way worse and I don't have to do the work. So it's just kind of one of those deals where it's like, he can get what I want. I know it's going to be good quality because I've seen what he builds. So I'm just going to have him build it for me.
Okay. With black?
Yeah, with black.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, and really all I had to do is get him the heat panels, which I'm trying to figure out the right type of heat panel to go with, because apparently it's like anything. You've got your good brands, you've got your mediocre, and you've got your brands you just want to stay away from.
Okay.
So, question, Kai. You had that clutch where there were possible lace het sunsets. Do you think that there's lace het sunsets in there?
I think that male that I showed on my Instagram, I think that is probably a lace het sunset. I can't really tell with the other ones. Maybe the female that is, the best looking one, maybe she has lace in it as well, because none of them look like the mom,
Mm-hmm.
right? The mom was sold as Fire, Orange Dream, Jungle Woma, Yellow Belly, Possible Lace,
Mm-hmm.
and oh, yeah, did I say Fire? Yeah, so I said Fire. So I didn't see Fire in any of the hatchlings, so I'm thinking maybe the mom doesn't have Fire, and I kind of teetering back and forth whether or not she has lace or not, depending on, that male hatchling. So if we take those two out of the equation, that means she only has 3 genes, right? And the video that I showed, the best looking female has 3 genes as well, but she doesn't look like the mom, so I'm still confused.
Good night,
I mean,
Chris.
shit. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see the lace sunset.
Yeah, I want to do the late sunset. If there's any males that I'm holding back, it would be that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I posted that picture on Facebook too, to see if anybody can help me out. But everybody was like, "Let's see pictures of the belly," or "What was the pairing?" And I would tell them, and then they would just like that comment. But that was it. That was the end of it. So I didn't really get answers.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably slightly traveling in uncharted territory though, too, with it, just because of throwing the sunset stuff into there. Or does sunset not really the head really affect anything?
Not that
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I haven't seen any strong like. I can pull out our like double het sunset clowns. They're normals. They look just like normals to me. Like there's nothing on them that I would be able to say like, oh, that's the het sunset influence.
Mm-hmm.
At least what I've seen so far. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything either.
What other topics you guys want to cover? People in the audience, if you got questions or topics you want us to cover, drop them in the comments there. Because that basically went through my whole list that I thought up of. So I don't know if you guys...
Beast Morphs asks, he wants to hear like tax talk, mostly depreciation for animals. I can talk about it a little bit. We've only done it like the taxes for Leviathan snakes 1 year. I'll go ahead and make disclaimers. I am not an accountant. I am not a lawyer. This is not tax advice. This isn't anything like that. This is just telling you like what we did. We keep track of every single expense, literally every single expense that we have that concerns the snakes. We have like receipts that we keep, and then we also keep them in a spreadsheet, which I know you can do like QuickBooks and stuff like that, but we just keep them in a spreadsheet right now. At some point, we might switch it over to something else. When you are doing your taxes, if you have an accountant do it, you just give them your spreadsheet. You don't even really have to give them the receipts. They might ask for the receipts, but you just give them the spreadsheet and they'll do it all for you. There's a couple different ways that the depreciation for animals works. And this is in general. And this is that you have I don't remember exactly what it is. I want to say like life, but this isn't the life of the ball python. This is like the life that this is an asset for your business. So let's say that you have a $5,000 snake and you say that this animal is an asset for your business for the next 5 years. And this is like your amortization. No, not amortization. Depreciation schedule. Is you say it's 5 years in this situation. What happens is each year that you have it, you depreciate it in equal intervals. You can also do different things where you can speed up depreciation really fast, and then it gets less and less over time. There's different models that you can do on it, but the simple model is if it's a $5,000 snake and you're doing it, depreciating it over 5 years, year one, you take $1,000 off of your taxable, $1,000 that you spent of the 5,000 is non-taxable. And that doesn't mean that you just get $1,000 back. What that means is if you would have spent, let's say 30% on average or 35% of taxes on that 1,000, you might get $300 back or $350 back. And you do that for the first year. And then the second year you have taxes, you depreciate it again because it's year two now, another $350 or however much it is. and it's based off of your tax bracket. So it changes depending on how much money you make. This isn't necessary if you are making so little money in your either business or in your like on your personal taxes that you pretty much zero out your taxes anyway. And this happens for people who are like making, I would probably say, less than $40,000 a year. Total making less than $40,000 a year. What will end up happening is you will have more write-offs than you get credits for. And once you write-offs aren't giving you extra money, it's just saying that this is taxes that you already spent in that you get back. If you would have already gotten to a zero tax like basis, you don't get any extra money beyond that. It's just saying that you didn't know any taxes, and yeah, you could have written off an extra $1,000, but you don't get an extra $1,000. It's not a tax credit, is the thing on it. They're deductions, and they're deductions from your taxable income. But it does add up. It does 100% add up, and it is very, very useful. The problem is, or not problem, the flip side is if you run a profit, you got to pay taxes on that profit. And when you're getting it from snakes, you aren't getting taxes taken out of it. So if you get like, let's say you do this, you're doing your taxes for year 1, year 2, year 3. Year 3, you become profitable and you profit by $40,000. You better have probably $12,000 to $15,000 back to pay taxes. Because you can't just do taxes on the years you get a loss and you're like, oh shit, I'm going to make money this year, I'm not going to file taxes on it. Then you go to jail.
Bad things happen. So basically, you gotta make sure you keep like a third of what you made tucked away.
Yeah.
To pay for the taxes on everything.
Yeah, and but early on, if you know that you're running at a loss because you have invested in racks and snakes and you aren't producing very many babies, you're gonna have more loss. You're gonna be at a net loss. But it's just be aware if you start doing it, you can't just stop unless you stop the business.
See, that's one thing where I need to, because technically right now, Morphs isn't a LLC yet. I still need to get that done. But this is tax stuff that I need to know and think about, which I already figured, you have to keep basically a third of whatever profit you make. But Brandon asked, do you do those sheets by month or just overall?
So we'll sit down and we will we don't do it strictly by month, but what we'll do is we will keep all of our receipts and all that stuff together, and we'll sit down and we'll open up. We have a bank account specifically for Leviathan snakes, and we'll go through and we'll be like, all right, here's the account statements, here's the dates that we made it, here's the vendor that we purchased it from, and then we'll know roughly what it was for because we don't buy a whole lot of stuff from it. We're buying animals. We know what animals we got from what vendors at what time. And then we'll put all of that information from the bank statements in there with the exact date that we bought it, exactly how much money it was, the person we got it from, and then a description of the item. And then we also have different categories we put them as because there are capital expenses and deductible expenses. Deductible expenses are items that are used up within a year. The items that you use within a year, like if you buy rodents, those are fully deductible right away. You don't have to depreciate those. Your capital expenses are the ones you have to depreciate. And there are some capital expenses you can take the full depreciation in year 1. I think it's section 179 deductions or what those. Again, I'm not an accountant, by the way.
You sounded pretty darn.
You sound really good. Keep going. Keep going, Steven.
So computers, you can do if you buy a computer for your business, that is something that you can fully deduct in 1 year. You don't have to depreciate that across multiple years if you want to. But if you think that you are going to have next year way more animals to sell and you're going to have a lot of money you're going to have to pay back, maybe you want to depreciate that over multiple years so you can get more money taken off next year. Gotcha. And this is stuff that an accountant can help you out with if anybody is interested in it. That's what their job is for, is to find out what's best for you.
I see. That's one thing where I need to get with my accountant here and figure everything out. Because I was going to do, Danny sent me a thing to do the LLC, just do a website by myself. And I was going to do it. I was on the website. I'm just like, you know what? I've just got this voice in the back of my head saying, get with your accountant, and let them do it.
The LLC
Yeah.
to create an LLC. Get a not don't go to a CPA for that. Go to a tax accountant, tax attorney, because they can advise you. Like a CPA won't advise you. They just tell you have to do X, Y, Z. But the tax attorney will advise you, telling you how to fill it out, and they'll probably just fill it out themselves. Here's the thing with filling it out on a website, and this is what I learned, is that these websites that allows you to create LLCs, they'll kind of like slim down the form so that you're only putting in like the bare minimum information. But there's a ton of other fields that are optional. They just don't even offer. They don't even offer those fields to you because otherwise it'll be so daunting to the user that the user won't want to do it, right? Because their whole pitch is that, oh, do it on our website because it's easy, right? But the thing is like all those optional fields, a tax attorney will fill them out for you so that you're covered. Because a lot of people think that the LLC protects you. Well, there's actually a process in the law. What lawyers do, it's called piercing the shield. So if there's a name for it, they do it quite often, right? So what they do is they'll try to find something in your LLC that maybe you didn't fill out or that's ambiguous, and then they get to you. And once they get to you, that LLC doesn't really help you. That doesn't protect you anymore. So you want to make sure you fill out all the fields. So if you want to do it right, and I didn't do it right because I didn't know about this when I filled out mine, created my LLC. So I have to get it amended. But yeah, you want to do it with an attorney, not just a CPA.
Okay.
I see Straight Blast had just asked a follow-up question on the tax thing, and that's, is it worth filing taxes in those first years? Personally, the first years are where I think most people invest most of the money into the business, and that's where you get your write-offs for. Mm-hmm. The only thing that comes in would be like, again, if you are making, let's say, $30,000 to $40,000 a year from your regular job, you have no snake sales, and you have like a kid or something, you can write stuff off, but you're probably not going to see a big benefit from it. That's not saying that it's bad, but I definitely think when you claim the deduction, you have to state the date that you got it. And if it's outside of the tax year that you're claiming it, it has to have already been on a tax beforehand in order to do it. Okay. So like if I bought a snake today, but I didn't do taxes in 2022, and then in 2023, I decided that I was going to make my business legit and I wanted to deduct stuff, I think you can go back a year. Here, we'll say 2024. I was going to make my business legit. I couldn't go back to snakes I bought 2 years ago and put them down as deductions because they'd be like, you bought this like 6 years ago. So like if you wait to do taxes and like go legit as a business, once you are making a profit, you're probably going to lose out on deductions from when you first started.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Old man asks, how do you start doing YouTube? Just grab your phone, and as long as you have your name created, I mean, you don't have to do anything special. Just grab your phone, film it, and upload it. Edit it if you want, or if you want to do it uncut, unedited, you can do that too. Big thing is just getting behind that or getting in front of that camera and filming something. So
I think the biggest learning curve is using an editor.
Yeah.
That's probably it, because I was able to film myself, but I had no idea how to cut out all the stupid things that I was saying.
Come on, Kai.
Editing takes a long time.
It took a while. I think I've said this before. When I started doing this, I didn't know how to cut out a lot of the stuff, so I would try to get it done in one shot, and I was taking like 20 takes and just reading a piece of paper. Just
I remember you saying this.
I created my own little program using JavaScript on a browser that would just like automatically scroll. So it's kind of acting like as a teleprompter. That way you don't see my eyes like moving around and up and down. So so you don't see my eyes like doing that too much. I mean, you can still see me read side to side, but I wasn't going up and down starting here. Because in the beginning I was using a piece of paper and it was really long, and you can see my head going like this at first. And then towards the end of the video, I'm like this.
I like it. I like it.
See,
so if you want to start, just
do
start.
Everything in one take. I do. But there's also a lot of beginnings where I get so mad that I keep screwing something up that I said millions of times in every episode, and I still get tongue-tied on it sometimes. Big thing is, I mean, oh man, you gotta just remember your first videos aren't going to be the greatest next best thing. After a year of doing it, you're going to look back and be like, God, that was terrible. I think we can all agree on that one. If you look back at your original videos, you're like, what was I thinking by putting this out there on the internet?
Yeah.
But everybody goes through that. The big thing is just getting in front of that camera and hitting the record button.
I say that about the video I put up last month, you know. So what was I thinking?
I agree. I think that, like, first part of advice and a little anecdote about it is talking in front of a camera, not just the editing it and all that stuff. Talking in front of a camera is a skill, and it's different than talking to a person, because you don't get like that feedback of like body language or like somebody else kind of interjecting and kind of riffing off them. And it feels, to me, at first it felt really weird. It honestly felt like I was singing in front of people. If I was recording a video and other people were in the room, and I embarrassed me so much that I would actually make Courtney leave the room when that was my turn to record parts of the video. But you get better at it. You get better at it. You get more comfortable at it. But you do have to practice it, and the only way you're going to practice it is by making the videos. A little bit of, like, I would say, direction, because I do think that the other biggest problem that people have beyond feeling uncomfortable doing it is not knowing what to like make content about. And my advice on this is to look at who is your really ideal audience that you are. If it's a business, like if we're breeding ball pythons, look at the ball pythons that you're breeding. Who is the ideal person who's most likely to buy those offspring? And if you are making like $500 and less, you're probably going to be selling to either new keepers or very, very new breeders. And then that's a completely different style of content. That's like husbandry care guides. That's like enclosure ratings. That's like that's a completely different style of content to focus on people who want a pet ball python. Then if you're making animals that are like 500 to 2,000 mark, you're looking at probably other breeders, probably early on in their breeding process, and that content's completely different. Those people are like, how do I pull a clutch? How do I incubate eggs? How do I build a rack? Like completely different styles of content for completely different audiences. And then if you're looking at like, I'm producing animals that are $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, those are people who have either a bunch of discretionary income from like a job, or they've been in the business or the ball python breeding hobby for a while, where they're willing to drop that kind of money on it. And those types of people, in the first group, the people who are like have a lot of money from some other kind of profession coming in, they're probably looking at building their hobby as a business, and they want to know information like, how do I market this? How do I do taxes on this? How do I structure an LLC, or things like that? Just different types of content for the different types of people, and knowing who is your ideal audience can help you know what type of content you should make.
Kai, any input?
That was really good. Kind of makes me wonder what the hell I've been doing for the last year. It makes sense though, right? Like if I'm cutting a clutch of like, you know, high end animals, double recessives, or like, you know, 4 codom clowns, then it makes sense to just kind of talk as if I'm talking to somebody who's well versed in this hobby. But if I'm making something like a Mojave, or you know, then it makes sense to kind of explain things more as I'm going and showing them like, oh, this is what makes a Mojave, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I've been kind of just like assuming I have one type of audience, which is probably not a good assumption.
See, I go through that the same way though too. I kind of just act as though everybody's on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
But I never really thought that, you know, about separating it. That was actually a good thought.
One thing that I would I would, not a warning, but just kind of like a caution on it for anybody who's thinking of doing YouTube, Instagram, anything like that. The different parts of the hobby have completely different like morals about the hobby. And the one that I think that people see the most is people who have like 1 or 2 snakes as pets, and that they want to provide their pet like the best possible life that they can. And they get these like huge bioactive enclosures, and then they see a breeder with a rack, and they genuinely think that breeders who use racks are abusing their animals. So if you're making animals that are primarily towards pets, and then you have a big wall of racks behind you, you might have some dissonance.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Another thing too, old man, is as you start getting into the videos and stuff, watch Steven's video on lighting. As you get into more and more depth of your video, you're going to realize lighting makes a big difference. Just for instance, this sounds really weird, but look at my face right now, and you take that light off, and my complexion just completely changes. So like just having a simple ring light does a lot. So that's one thing that I've learned from Steven and Courtney's lighting video, was like just setting up lighting. There was another. All right, here's the other comment I have starred. Sacred Serpents asks, how many years in a row, which I was actually going to get onto this one, Sacred. Thanks for beating me to it. I did want to bring this up too, because I remember they had messaged me this question. How many years in a row will you breed your females before giving them a break, even if their body condition and all factors are good?
I never thought about that, to be honest. I mean, my hope is that they will go every year, because I think they can, as long as, like you said, if you have that assumption that their body condition is good, and that assumption is true, then they should be able to go for you every year. They have the ability to go every 9 months, so you'll run into a situation, if you do let them go every 9 months, you'll run into a situation where they can go twice a year, double clutch, kind of like colubrids. But I don't want to push them. So my hope is that they do go every year, really. If I can get 20 meals in them, and they're taking them consistently, then I'll make the assumption that they can go that year.
Steven?
We don't have enough experience to like really say like we do, because this is our 2nd year breeding. So that said, we've kind of planned on like roughly doing like a 3 years, 4 years, year off, unless they just go off, like they don't go on their own normally.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't gotten there to actually do that. So I don't feel comfortable giving advice on that. That's just kind of what we were planning on that.
Yeah. I mean, there's some females, they'll tell you, like I have a female that only goes every other year. That's just her schedule. Like, I'm not going to try to push her to go every year if her schedule is every other year. There's some new females. I was talking about slugging out. There's one new female that slugged out, which is that super pastel desert ghost. She was like 1,600 grams when she started locking, and then the last time I weighed her, she was like 1,800 grams. So I felt like she was gonna give me a good clutch, but she slugged out. It doesn't really mean that I bred her too early or that she wasn't ready. It's just happens sometimes, because the male definitely proved he's a proven male, but the female is a virgin, and she was up to size and everything. So I didn't feel that I needed to give her another year off or anything like that.
Yeah, I know for me, like you said, Steve. I mean, this is only my 2nd year breeding, but I figure if their body condition's good, they're eating. If they want, I mean, ultimately they make the decision. You can throw the male in there and they'll lock or not lock. And they'll also either go full term or they'll reabsorb. I let the female make that final decision. If she wants to go, she can go. But at the same token, they're sitting there in your rack, and this is where kind of like the business aspect comes into play. They're sitting there in your rack and they're not doing their part to pay the bills. Why are they in the rack? And I guess that's kind of a cold-hearted way to look at it too. But ultimately, you know, I want to give every female their chance to go that year, and let it up to them to either say yes or no. Because like I had 2 females that gave me great clutches last year, reabsorb on me this year, and I would have swore up and down they were going to go, but they made that decision to not go, which really hurt. But it is what it is. I mean, it's just part of the game. You're going to have. How many females do you have in general either have not go or reabsorb roughly a year?
Every year is different for me because you know my collection's getting bigger and bigger. This year, I think the reabsorption is around like 12 females.
Okay. Out of how many females do you have breeding?
I have, when I started the plan, I had 62 adults, but only about like 58 or so, 57 or so were actually bred.
Okay.
So if you take 58 and you subtract 12, I guess you're looking at like 46 that are supposed to go. Most of them have, and you know, 4 out of the 46 slugged out. So, but I still count those as clutches.
I mean, that's just something where I think if they're good and they're ready to go, give them the shot, and let them make that final decision. I think that's where I stand on that one. Beastmore says that the girls decide. Yep, basically sums it up.
Well, sometimes they don't really decide, right? Because you're putting a male in an enclosure with the female. She's got nowhere to go to get away.
Well, that's true too, I guess. She could just lay on top of him. I've seen.
She could. I mean, there's times where the female. I mean, they could either like be in opposite corners where she could dominate him, but there might be some times where you put in a male that isn't going to give up that easily.
That's true. I know my GHI Mojave male. I mean, I swear that boy would breed a garden hose if you left him. But at one point, the female he was going to basically said, "You're done. You've had enough." And she legit, the last time he was paired up with her last season, she was just laying right on top of him, not giving him an inch. It was funny.
Yeah. I see some females like lay on top of their own tail, so the male doesn't have access to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that happens too. So I have a question for you guys, since we're talking about like number of females. I was talking about earlier about like success rate. I don't know how to calculate the success rate because depending on where you start, you're going to get a different percentage at the end. And what I mean by that, like, is if let's say you have, I don't know, like 28 adult females, right? That are like, 1,300 grams and above, and the ones that are like around the cusp of 1,300 grams, you're probably thinking, okay, I can probably get a few more meals into her and get her up to like 1,500-1,600 grams to breed her. So let's just say you have the 28 females, and then that are in your breeding plan. Like you put 28 females in your breeding plan, but then let's say 3 of those females that were on the lower end stop eating. And they don't get bred. So now you're at 25. And then let's say only 20 of them actually clutched for you. So if you're calculating success rate, like trying to get a percentage of how successful you are, you start with the 28%. Do you calculate based on, not 28%, do you calculate based on the 28 females? Or do you calculate based on the 25 females? Or do you calculate based on the 20 females? Right, because if you use the lower number, 20 females, your percentage will be higher.
Yeah.
If you calculate based on the 28 females, your percentage is going to be lower. So I'm having that trouble because, like I said, I'm putting together an Excel sheet. I'm putting in formulas to figure out like what my success rate is, but I don't know where to start. I don't know if I should start with like, the 28, 20, or the 25. The 28, 25, or 20.
Can you kind of combine it to where you have?
I mean, you would only use one of the numbers, right? You wouldn't pick like an average.
Well, what I'm kind of thinking is, and this is just snowballing, could you say, all right, do two different things where one you have you got this percentage of females that actually went, that actually, we're good to go. This was that percentage, and out of that percentage, X amount actually gave me these.
Right, but I'm saying like if you say, okay, I have 28 females, but you end up with 14 successful clutches, right?
Okay, and
that's like 50%. But if you said, oh, because only 20 females were actually bred, and I ended up with 14%, you end up with a much only 14 clutches, then you end up with a much higher percentage.
Yeah,
The way that
I'm with you now.
Yeah, the way we do it is because like we haven't made like an Excel sheet on it, but the way we think about it is if we put a male in with a female and recognize a lock, then that is like they locked. There's fingers crossed. There's nothing that would stop them from going, as long as they build and all of that stuff. And if they never lock, or if like we never see it, like that might be a thing where it's like, okay, well they never locked. That's why she didn't build follicles, is because they never got a lock in.
So you draw the line at the lock. If they locked, then they get considered into, your success rate. If they've never locked, then it doesn't factor in.
Yeah,
and I like that.
Yeah, so we do it at like locks that like if we're looking at the ratio, the laid clutches would be the numerator, and the lock or the confirmed locks would be the denominator of the ratio. And then I don't know what that ends up being for us. I think that we've had 2 this year of the like 14 clutches that locked, that we saw locks and didn't go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and so I'm trying to put together an Excel sheet to help myself out, figure that out, keep track. I'm also like factoring in not just if the female laid a clutch, but also if that clutch was successful, like the individual clutch. So if it's all slugs, then it's not successful, right? If they all molded out, then it's not successful. So what I decided to do was to say if 50% or more of that clutch resulted in healthy hatchlings, then it's considered successful. Now there's like, somebody's going to be like, well, what if you have like a 10 egg clutch and 5 of those hatchlings hatched out versus a 4 egg clutch and 4 eggs hatched out? They're both going to be kind of successful, but the 4 egg clutch actually had less hatchlings. And I think when I get to that point, I'll deal with it like, at an individual level. But for now, just to keep it simple, as long as 50% or more hatched and it resulted in healthy hatchlings, meaning that they're not deformed or anything, then that clutch would be considered successful. I'm just having fun with the Excel sheet. I even went to so during this time I went to on vacation. We stayed at a hotel where the 13th floor doesn't exist. So that gave me the idea. The 13th clutch doesn't exist. So so I put in a formula where it's like if clutch number is 13 or is less than 13, then clutch number is the clutch number. But if clutch number is higher than 13, then it's clutch number minus 1. So that means it's like 1 less clutch. So if I'm at like clutch 26, and because we skipped over 13, I really only produced 25 clutches.
That's interesting. That's neat.
Just for fun, because I was having fun with all the formulas and putting that into Excel. I mean, I'm learning new stuff as I'm doing this. I think Courtney's an analyst, right? Yeah. So my new role is an analyst too. So
that's awesome.
Playing with that stuff.
Rob had asked if we've had any clutches that we did not see the lock. We're about to have a clutch.
I did too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We have 1 clutch where she just ovulated. We have not witnessed a lock with her on either of the males we've put in. So we'll see what happens.
Could be a Partho. That'd be awesome.
You like Parthos? I don't really like Parthos. They produce hatchlings and everything, and depending on the genetics, they could be beautiful. But I hear there's like they have shorter lifespan. Is that true?
I've heard that too, like health problems and stuff.
I mean, I'll put it this way: I have that bald Partho Super Enchi sitting in the rack growing up. She smashes food like crazy. Now, I have heard that they don't live as long as what your normal average snake would. We'll find out. I think the big thing is like there's probably been people having Partho clutches that didn't really catch that they were having Parthos until recently now. So I think as time goes on, we're going to get a bigger sample of what's really going on with them. Because I forget how many babies were in that clutch, but out of that clutch, what survived was 2 Super Enchies and I think a normal. I think that was the only 3 that survived out of, I forget how many egg clutch that was. No, out of what hatched and then died off, I don't know. I forget all those numbers and stuff from talking with Jeremy. But I will say this, that Super Enchi girl from him, she's probably one of the best stinking eaters I've ever seen. Like, you barely get that rat in there, and she's got it wrapped up, and she's good to go. And she's growing quick. So we'll find out. Because I've also heard people say on how they heard that Parthos weren't fertile, too.
What? Really?
I've heard people say that Parthos won't produce, like, actual viable clutches as well.
But I thought the whole the whole point of that advantage is so that they can,
continue
to continue their species. It's like if a female gets stranded on an island without a male, she can produce a Partho clutch that would prolong that species on that island until another male comes to that island. I thought that was the whole point. So them being infertile kind of defeats the whole purpose.
No, I know. That's why I kind of thought, that sounded weird. But hey, we'll find out. I mean, who knows? Maybe the success rate of those eggs are limited, possibly. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes, though.
2 things. I'm going to jump off here in about 6 minutes at 11. So
yeah, I'm going to wrap it up at 11 too, just because as much as I shouldn't, I'm going to go up and watch House of the Dragon.
Oh.
And Rob had asked like if that would mess with the equation. Yes, it will. But the thing is, we don't actually like really track that in any like meaningful sense right now. We just kind of know like, oh yeah, of all the girls we paired, 2 of them didn't go. This is like right now, but yes, it will.
What was Rob's question?
If I've had a clutch, or if we've had a clutch that we didn't see locks for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you just add them to the equation.
Yeah.
Right? Like if there's 20 females that you saw locks to, and that it would be 20. But then if there's another female that ended up ovulating and producing a clutch, then she must have locked, unless it's a Partho. But let's assume that she locked, then you would just update your equation to 21 females.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Is there any more questions from anybody in the chat? Dude, I'm really like, this has been a really great night. We're still at 36. We were hovering at like 50 the whole night. This was a very good night.
I think Partho stuff is interesting. I actually read up on it. You know how Parthos work? You know how they come about?
Mm-mm.
So you have one cell, like the female has one cell. I'll try to get this done in the next couple minutes. So she has one cell, right? And that cell first divides within itself, and it doubles. So that's how many chromosomes does a female have? 46? 37?
Yeah. Or at least I know it's cool.
All right, let's just say it's 46, right? It's 46. So she'll double that number, and after she doubles, then it forms 2 cells. One of them just dies. One of them is completely useless, and then the one that is useful divides again without doubling. So now you have half of the chromosomes. So now you have 2 cells that have half the chromosomes. One of them becomes a dud. It shrinks down, becomes a dud, and sits on top of the other one. So what happens in some cases, and this is how Partho happens, is that dud becomes active again and fertilizes the original cell, the egg cell. So that's why you have double, because they're exact. So if you have like a female that's a fire, she'll either produce a normal or a super fire.
That's really cool. That's really neat.
Yeah,
Well, now,
and it's actually
all right.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say. Now, did you know that there's also another thing called androgenesis?
Yes.
It's
yes.
done solely by the male. The female does
right.
There's nothing from the female put in.
I don't know how that works, but apparently it's like the male's genetics going into the female egg and then fertilizing itself. So you have double of the male's genetics in the female egg, and then she lays those eggs. I don't know how it works, but the so partho happens with the female that like for some reason that dud becomes reactive again. But then you guys have heard of the chimera.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens on the male side. So basically what happens is same thing. You start with one cell, right? It doubles itself, then divides into two. This is why there's more sperms than eggs. So both of those then divide into four. So all four of them are supposed to have, half the genetic makeup that makes an embryo, right?
Yeah.
But what happens is sometimes when they're still at two, one of them fails to divide. It just produces the double, but it doesn't divide. So now you have double the amount of genetics in one sperm. So when it goes and fertilizes an egg, now you have 1.3 the number of chromosomes.
That's really interesting.
So that's why you have I think there was something on Olympics reptiles, the guys with the purple shirts.
Oh, yeah.
They featured an animal, I think that was like partial highway and partial ivory.
That's really cool. That's awesome.
So that means it has two copies of yellow belly and a copy of gravel, which we know are all allelic. So that means all three copies are in that animal.
That's really cool. That's awesome. I was watching. Oh, I don't know who it was.
OnlyFans.
Probably OnlyFans. Damn it! It was a snake.
Steven, did you see Courtney's message?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure you didn't get in trouble by not doing that.
Thank you. It was on my back. Shit. Oh, it was Garrick DeMeyer. He was talking about like way back in early ball python days, like early 2000s, that he had like wild caught female and she laid a partho clutch, and it was like right around, I don't remember exactly what the morph was, like ultramel or lavender or something like that had just come out. And they were like stupid expensive. And his female laid a partho clutch, and one of the babies he thought looked like it was deformed and it didn't survive, was like a ultramel or lavender or something like that. One of those like albino morphs that's not just regular albino. And he was just like, oh, well, that was a partho, because like that obviously none of my animals like could have done that. So then he went out and he bought a male like double het, whatever that one was, and something else, paired it to him, and that's how he got his first whatever ones it was. And I just thought that was cool. He found, because of like you said the partho, you can make normals or the super form of whatever their het is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or the normal and then the visual recessive form of it.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah. So going back to success, what would you consider to be successful? Because I've heard anywhere between 40% and 80%.
I would personally, for me, I would probably go, if it was 80% or more of females that we paired went, I would be like, all right, that was a solid, successful, good season. Mm-hmm. If it was between, I would probably say 60 and 80, I'd be like, all right, that was a season, that was a successful season, but I wish we would have gotten like more females to go. If we got half of the females to go, it'd be like, God damn, what did we do wrong?
Right.
Like, that's where I would start.
Well, half of them might not be too bad, because I recently watched a video. It wasn't on the Canova channel. It was somebody else who went to visit Justin. So it might have been, I don't know if it's recent or if it's old, but Justin, when the video started, Justin was kind of giving the guy a tour of his facility, and Justin says, oh, this is the breeder room. We have 500 breeders in here. I don't remember if he said they were all female or if the males are in there too, but I mean, you can't imagine there's being too many males in there, but there's 500 breeder animals. And then in the same video, he said he's expecting 225 clutches.
Mm,
So that's only half, right?
yeah.
Depending on. So if it was 500 breeder females, and he's expecting 225 clutches, that's 40%.
But
You
then
know?
here's the other thing, though: is he giving some of those breeder females is he cycling them? And there may be 500 in there, but maybe he's only pairing 300.
Maybe, but wow,
Yeah,
that's a lot to like.
Oh, it is.
That's a lot to
Especially
like
with
put
what
off on the
he's got
side.
going.
I don't
You
I
know?
don't think we'll ever get to that. I don't think we want to get to like 500 breeder females. I think that if we are working at like just under 15 clutches this season, and we are gonna like, I feel like the most I can see us handling how we are right now given space stuff is 30 clutches, and that would be wild. Like we need more racks. Like we couldn't handle that much.
What did Brandon say? He's doing like 400 plus girls through to get 200-ish clutches. Similar your collection, the higher your success rate should be.
I get that. I mean, like, because I do get like the idea of if we have, let's say, I don't know what we have right now. Like, let's say we have 25 females that we have that are good to go up to size and all that stuff. A lot of the males that we have, like, we'll have a couple that are going like to 4 or 5 females, but that's the max that we do. A lot of them will be like, all right, 1 male to 2 females, 1 male to 3 females, kind of thing, and it's just like. It's way smaller animals. So I feel like that we're just going to make sure that they get those locks in. And with like 500 animals, that's a lot to keep track of.
The male has 2 hemipenes, and the female has 2 sets of organs that produces eggs.
Yep. And
How does the male know? Like Jeremy is in the same chat.
I really think it's luck of the draw, and I think that's also why you have to pair them so many. Like, make sure that they've been paired a good many times.
Yeah, but if the male is right-handed or dominant on the right side, maybe he's just going to constantly use that right hemipene.
But hopefully she'll switch position then, so he gets it in the right one.
Yeah, but they have to twist in that same. If he wants to use the right hemipene, he has to twist in the same orientation all the time.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right.
Mystery.
Yes. I'm probably going to jump
Okay.
off here. I don't know if you want to do your thing, and then I'll tell you the thing, Kai, right after.
Yeah.
Right after this, and then
Okay.
Everybody,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you so much for joining us tonight. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that did super chats. Thank you, John, for becoming the first member on our Warfels Morris little member group. Greatly appreciate all the support, everybody. Next week, we have Jeff and Angie from Celtic Balls joining us. Going to be getting an update from them and just having a good time and talking ball pythons and everything else. And then after that, let me pull up my calendar here quick. I do believe on the 11th, I'm on Kent from Craft Brews channel. I'm on his live stream. And then right after that, here I will be having Nicole from Lady Tiz Exotics on. So that's going to be an exciting episode with her. And then on the 18th, I have Pedro from Funky Morelia coming on. So we're going to be talking carpet pythons, carpet python breeding. Basically just going to hammer out some how that man is so successful with breeding carpets and what his tips and tricks are. So awesome guests lined up. And let me see here. Who do I have on for the 25th? The 25th, tentatively, it's supposed to be King Austin coming back for part 2 on the 25th of September. So we'll see. Hopefully I can keep him in at that date and we don't have to change it, but time will tell. I'll bug him a little bit closer to the date. But that's going to be it, everybody. If you missed the beginning parts of this live, go back and rewatch it, please. I appreciate it. And you're going to catch a lot of great info during the whole thing, I promise. That's going to be it, guys. Thank you so much as well for coming on. Adam, if you come back and watch this, thank you so much for being on for as long as you could. I know you didn't feel well. Steven, Kai, Courtney, if you rewatch this, thank you all for coming on.
thank you, man. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, guys. It's been a pleasure. All right, everybody. We're going to call it a night. Good night, and we'll catch you later.
Bye, guys.